This program is rated MA. It contains adult themes, coarse language, sexual references, and violence.
Forever is your vice. Intrigue your soul desire. You sell your wife, your child. You sell your oldest friends. You sell your countrymen. And yet we know your name. Traitor, traitor. And now your face is shown. And so your fate is known. We have discovered you. We have uncovered you. You say you will let us stray. Fall on your knees and pray. Pity is not for you. We'll make things hot for you. Our hearts we make to harden. For you there is no pardon. For you the spike awaits upon the traitor's gate. And crows will eat your eyes. Traitor, traitor. We'll send you straight to hell. As we dismember you, we shall remember you. You are abomination. You that betray the nation. You shall take long to die. Traitor, traitor.
Alright, we're on. Alright, Friday night, open comps. How's it going, everybody? The full crew is here. I think this is the first time that's happened in like a month. But then we have a lot of guests.
Wait, it's Friday?
Yeah, it's Friday, Rain. We have a lot of guests. First off, we have Pro God Legend here. How's it going, man?
How's it going? What's up?
It's going good. And then Solon Decimus is with us as well. How's it going?
Not bad. It's Friday. Thank God.
Yeah, and then Matterall and Jay McClain are both joining us as well. How's it going, guys?
What's up, homie?
All right.
Matterall's on his mobile, so I don't know how how long it'll take.
Yeah,
sorry for the extra long intro. I went searching for songs that I could find that would be relevant to this week. You know how hard it is to find songs about hands that aren't hands up, baby, hands up. I didn't want to do that.
Hands up,
one.
they're playing my song. The butterflies fly away.
Can
Nodded in my head like.
Roscoe Dash, no hands up here? Come on.
But when I found, Motorhead's Traitor and then read the lyrics, I'm like, well, I got to play the entire freaking song because it's just, that last verse is really something else. But for those of you out there who think that song is directed at one side or the other in all this, honestly, is it not directed at all of them really? I mean, because you can go back to the whole freaking traitor thing and everything from back during World War B, or it's the traitor now that happened, or all depends on how you look at it. You can kind of take it how you want.
And Rishi and Star Fury, 31 months.
I don't think Test is really at fault for anything, but you know.
Oh no! I'm talking about the CO2 related parties here.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was a song about yourself, Dirk.
No, it wasn't a song about myself.
That's what we were talking about.
I ain't never fucking traded on nothing.
CO2 is kind of a fractal of deception, isn't it?
Fractal?
A fractal of deception?
I know what a fractal is, but...
just take a second to unpack that.
Okay.
Anyways, yeah, so sorry for the extra long opening. We don't normally play an entire song, and it'll probably, like, zilch us on VOD or something like that, but so fucking what? Anyways, got to hear the whole song. Traitor. Fucking traitor. Anyways, yeah, this has been kind of a crazy week in EVE Online, and you know what? I have only got kind of just a couple small announcements before we get into what is the main topic of the night, which is of course Circle of Coup. But one thing I do want to say out there, because it's got a bit of a deadline on it, is CCP is having a multi-character training deal that's currently on sale. You have to go through your account management though. Actually, I think if you click on the link in the launcher or something like that, it'll take you there. This is not the multi-character training certificate that you buy in the game, but if you buy multi-character training through account manager, it will work on the other 2 characters on your account that aren't already subbed. So you're basically it's basically half off.
It was funny because I saw that and it was like, what, 2 for 1? And then it's like CCP's like, yeah, but it's only on 1 account. Oh.
Yeah. But the other thing is the room tonight is on lockdown. Call it battle comms, closed comms, whatever the fuck you want. We're not going to let this turn into more of a clusterfuck than we might already make it into ourselves. So for those of you who like to show up in the lobby and stuff like that, don't expect any drags or stuff like that. We got who we've got here tonight, and we're going to try and actually keep it on course. My bottle of Tito's is in the other fucking room, so I can't even get to it right now, and I'm not going to get to it until we actually get through some of the stuff that's said here.
Make sure you tell Drunk Dirk that later he can't drag people in either.
No fireball.
I got no fireball here. I got vodkas in the other room. I'm just drinking beer. It's all going to be cool. I'm going to keep this shit on fucking course. And then the other thing I want to say, and Rain, I'll owe you this later, is happy belated birthday to Rain. Her birthday was this past Tuesday.
Monday.
So yeah.
Why didn't you mention anything last week when we had the whole
So I was, but I was getting sick, and I sounded okay, but I did the first shot of Tito's last week, and I was just like, oh my god, I can barely my throat was just burning. So I was like, fuck it, I'll just get sick, and then I'll just follow up with it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's last week, the whole show except for me, I think, had their birthdays. Apparently, you too.
But yeah, so this, so those things all out of the way. I will definitely do shots later. I just don't want to do it too early in the fucking show because, well, obviously you know how I fucking get. Yeah, so this week was a little freaking crazy. I got to be honest. I was sitting there watching TV with my wife, and all of a sudden I start to see a couple line items come across various channels about shit going down with CO2 and you know, Judge Trader them out and flipping them and shit like that. And I immediately went down, got on my computer, got Matterall in. We started talking about it. A couple other people kind of showed up, and then we went live on Talking in Stations and ended up doing like a 3-hour freaking where, you know, first we had Lucian James from CO2 come in. He was kind of one of the only CO2 I knew that I could get really in contact with, who I thought might know something. And then Judge himself came in. And then later on, Giggs himself came in. So it was kind of a good night. We had some other people there. It's a slow-running kind of broadcast at first because it really was sort of on the fly. We tried to keep it as serious as possible from the standpoint of, you know, I don't know, just trying to get the information that we could. I think we did a decent job. And
one thing I was actually pretty impressed by, because, you know, I was expecting, as soon as, you know, like, because I listened to it the next day, when I heard Giggs come in afterwards and stuff, I was like, oh shit, here we go. And it, like, I was pretty impressed, like, how civil everyone was. Like, I mean, Lucian as well. Like, I think Lucian got the most uppity, and all he did was just say, like, Judge, you're a piece of shit. And that's literally, like, as like, hostile as the whole stream got, which was pretty surprising, being that it was, like, pretty much literally right after all this shit happened.
Actually, there was a couple of cheap shots if you listen closely. Actually, the judge.
Yeah, but I mean, like, there wasn't anybody shouting and yelling. There wasn't like a big giant like fight in the stream.
It wasn't like a graph boat thing.
You mean nobody was yelling, "You shut the fuck up"?
Yeah, there wasn't any of that, which was that's what I was expecting, and I was like sitting there waiting for it, and never.
Which was odd because we had probably at any given time we had 15, almost 20 people in there, to the point where we actually had to move some people out who weren't actively participating in the conversation, just I don't know, just because we did. But yeah, I mean, it was civil. It wasn't to say that there weren't, some shots taken and some disagreements that were there, but they kept it civil, and that was good. I don't know what it would have been like if that was a open comms night when that shit went down. And
it would have, yeah, like people are saying, it would have been another graph boat night probably.
Quite honestly, I don't know what it would have been like if this was happening last night and tonight was open comms. I know the last few days I've been involved with a lot of conversations regarding this, whether it be for setting up this show or talking about stuff for talking in stations or just with people, because look, I mean, people can take it for what they want. I mean, this is big news no matter what side of the equation you're on. I mean, if you've been around Eve long enough, this sort of thing doesn't happen every day. It doesn't happen like this. It's not to say that things like corp thefts don't happen. But this, this was something that threw a lot into sort of disarray. Certainly for CO2. I know that there are people out there that are kind of cheering the outcome of this, and there are other ones that are mourning the outcome, and then there are other ones who are kind of tied up, and then of course, like, there's 99% of Eve who really doesn't give a fuck because they don't know. But yeah, so it's been a fairly exciting night. So I mean, just to recap, right? Just to sort of recap what went down, I expect that most of you out there know that the judge apparently got turned by Aerith up. Well, over the course of time, it appears. It appears that this has been something sort of kind of being worked on with the judge for some time. Apparently, he was found to be a mark and was disgruntled with whatever the hell was going on within CO2 and got his ass out with GigX. And apparently, he was able to be a mark that eventually, following the CSM summit, made the decision to go ahead and pull the trigger as best he can, and went and robbed as much as he could out of the wallets, took as much as he could out of Corp and Alliance hangars, turned over the Keepstar for $300 billion to the goons, turned over other structures out there to test, and then proceeded to basically stream the aftermath. That's sort of the TLDR of it. I mean, obviously it goes into more depth. There's a reasonably good article out on Kotaku, which I will link in here, that was written by a goon, okay? But I think that what it does is it fleshes out a little bit more of that, goon side of the narrative, the Aerith side of the narrative. The level of detail in that article is much higher than the PC Gamer articles or some of the other ones where maybe they didn't have access, to it, or just didn't want to print as much. I don't know, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah,
I mean,
that PC Gamer article, I feel like it was like, we gotta beat Kotaku, just get something out there.
It was so
no,
bad.
I mean,
title
sadly,
is the worst.
Well, sadly, the earliest articles that came out focused on, the chopping off hand stuff. Okay, because
What
I
do
guess
you
I left that.
expect?
The tenuous
I mean,
connection.
This
of
is
chopping
what
off hands.
I'm sorry, but like, this is what I don't get about Eve people. Like, that was really bad. Like, it looked really fucking bad. There was like 1,200 people watching that on Twitch when it happened. And then everyone's like, oh, I can't believe that's what the media is focusing on. And I'm like, no, I can't. 1,200 people watch some player threaten to cut another player's hands off over, this shit.
Have you played Dota, though? Come on, or League of Legends?
Oh, dude,
Yeah,
the
but
toxicity
know
in
what
other
the-
games.
People know what the score is. Come on.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
Eve has that reputation. They're always going to latch onto that shit. Like, you got to know
course
that's
it
going to
does.
happen. And to be
Doesn't
honest,
mean we can't
it's not
reform, though.
entirely unearned. So, like,
No,
I don't
it's
know
not.
what
No, it's
people are
not.
up in arms about.
And in fact, when I read the PC Gamer article, I also went down, which I don't normally do on those things, because most of the comments in some of those mainstream, gamer media, sites are a bunch of people who don't play or played a long time ago or whatever, right? But so, a couple of the comments that I ran into were like, I'm surprised with Eve that somebody hasn't been assaulted yet, or somebody hasn't been violently attacked yet. And somebody's like, and somebody else is like, yeah, I am too. And I'm sitting there going, I gotta be honest, I am too.
Well, I'm not surprised that someone hasn't been physically attacked yet. I mean, we've got a bunch of computer nerds playing this game. Let's
I
be
thought
real.
we've had fights before, but it's usually drunken fights unrelated to what's happening.
Yeah,
That's different, yeah.
But here's the thing: how
drunk at a
believable
bar,
is
that
any
could have
threat
happened
that you're going to
regardless of
get
Eve.
from an Eve nerd? Come on, we've been.
Well, no, no.
Jay,
so
are you
here's
serious?
the problem.
I'd be
Here's the
terrified
problem.
of you if you pissed off at me.
Here's the problem, though. The
That's
reason that the
fucking
real life
keyboard
threats,
warriors.
the reason that the real life threats are such an issue is because it hasn't been physical yet, but there's plenty of people fucking with other people's real lives that's happened. Mainly doxing, other shit like that, where people have been calling people's office and trying to get them fired over shit. I mean, this stuff happens in Eve all the fucking time. And that's the shit where, you know, there are real life threats that have happened and been carried through in the past over shit like this.
And then
Yep.
Thedinko, 7 months resub. Thanks, man. And Boogeyman just came back for 4 months. Thanks, guys.
We've had a lot of stuff here.
It's like a different
Now,
world.
what I will say is this, okay? The fact that it was being streamed, secondary to the fact that it was said in Alliance chat, whether it was being streamed or not, it still kind of reached that level of oh shit, you did it in their game client.
Yeah.
The fact that there was evidence to 1,500 or 2,000 people at the same time just means that more people saw it. But it was
real.
eventually going to get put out there.
Let's be real. If GigX does that in like a Discord instead of Eve Alliance chat, we're not even talking about this. Nothing happens. I mean, like, the only reason this is even a thing is because he did it in game.
Yes.
Which is
Probably.
why I don't really agree with the permanent ban, because, you know, most of this game is played outside of the game,
Yeah,
and
but the
there's
problem
a
is
very weird gray area there that's not really enforced.
Yeah, but the thing is, they basically put CCP in a position where they had no other option.
Well, no.
Well,
I
playing
have
temporary
no,
insanity.
I
He
know
just lost
why
his life.
CCP did it, because, you know, even if they wanted to undo it now, they couldn't. The media's all over this shit.
Yeah, it's
Like,
one of
they
those
have
things.
to
Like,
permanently
that's a good
I
point.
don't like that he got banned, because obviously it does seem like it was heat of the moment. Do I think that he would have actually gone and done anything? No. But you're right. Like, when it came out,
I do like that he got banned. Okay, and you know, this is somebody who's talked to him a few times since then. I do like the fact that he got banned. He should have been banned. The question comes down to the length of time, right?
The reason for his
He
ban
should have
is-
caught a 30
The reason
day,
for
let's
him
be
getting
real.
banned is legitimate, and they should have banned him for what he did. I'm saying that I don't like that he did that, and it's like I wish he'd had a little bit more restraint and hadn't said, because had he not said that one thing in the public channel, he wouldn't be banned.
Well,
I
it
don't think
should
that's
be,
true.
I don't think it should be a permanent ban. A 30-day ban sounds good. But that's the one thing. These people trying to excuse what he did is like, oh, he was just angry. I'm like, look, I get it. I've had my alliance reset before, but like, even if we're willing to excuse that mistake, we gotta, you know, eventually take a stand and say, no, we don't want. Eve has a problem with people taking this shit too seriously and taking it way over the line, and we can't like excuse people for shit, even when it looks, even when it looks like it's just rage and he'd probably get over it the next day.
Yep.
Like, it's not the first time he's done it either. Like, anyone in any alliance and shit knows it's not the first time he's done it. So like,
Judge even said that the whole reason he did that in the first place is because it was not the first time he's
well,
done that.
let's not take anything the judge says. You know.
All right, sure.
Yeah. I mean,
but
I live under the theory that, you know what, if he's probably said something before, okay, for some other reason or whatever, okay. In this case here, though, when people are like, oh, it was on Twitch, I'm like, I don't think that really played into their decision. I think the fact that it was in their game client.
It was in game. No, the fact that it's in game. I've been told plenty of things on Twitch.
Yeah, for sure.
I've been told plenty of things in like confirmed ways of like people being linked to their main characters, but because it's not in game, they don't get punished.
That being said, okay, CCP has already in the past, all right, gone after things.
Got banned for out of game stuff.
Gone after
so
things.
did Stunt, but it's
gone
different.
after things that were outside of the
kind of
game
started in
client,
game.
but related to Eve. Okay, they laid down kind of a bit of a new doctrine back then in 2014, and yes, they can go after you. Yes, you say it out there in some place that they can prove and be able to link back who you were there to who you are here. Yes, they can in fact go after you because there is precedent for that.
Yeah, they did that with the one guy with the...
I can think of it, not specifically off the top of my head.
It's
I
on them
know
to
there's
pick and
been
choose,
examples
for sure.
since then that they didn't enforce. Like, I just know it. I can't.
There are a ton of
There's
examples.
no
There are
real
1,000
consistency with this
examples.
policy. Like, let's be real. Like, some dudes catch a 30 days, some dudes catch a lifetime. Like, I don't know. I don't think Gigax should have caught a lifetime ban. Like a 30-day sounded legit, but whatever.
Let's just get it out there now because this is where it fits. What about the Matani and Wizard Hat incident?
No, the Matani incident from 2011 has absolutely no fucking bearing on today whatsoever. Okay, number one.
No, it does.
No, it does not. No, just hold on.
Why not?
I'm all for talking. I'm all for everybody talking over it. But I will give you a chance to respond to this. Okay, the reason why I'm saying that it doesn't is because in 2011 the policies were different. CCP's attitude was different. The attitude in general towards online bullying and things like that, okay, were different. Okay, whether or not you agree or don't, okay, it was a different time. Their policies, the actual EULA itself has changed since that time. Now, how they seek to enforce their current EULA on things that are currently happening, that's the only thing there. You can bring up what happened back then, okay, as though, oh, well, remember the Matani back then? You know what, remember a whole lot of damn things back then? I mean, you could basically link porn and local back then, but you know you can't now, right?
Point. That's a good point.
I mean, we can't because
you can't retroactively punish people.
Like, that was pretty rough.
Racial slurs. No one seemed to give a shit back then.
No, they didn't. That's right. But now you run through local and do some racial slurs. Chances are you're going to be catching a hammer.
You can literally actually have your character's name revoked if it has just the letters NIG in it in succession. Yep. Ask me how I know. Didn't even spell out the word, but if you have NIG in succession, they can actually revoke your character name.
But my point is just that there are a lot of people out there who bring up the fact because maybe they think that the Matani was given a light sentence back then. Guess what? It was basically that CCP working. CCP was actually a little bit late to the party of having to deal with that back then. You know why? Because attitudes were just different.
Well,
let's
be real. The Matani didn't say, "I'm going to come to your house and kill you." He said, "Hey, everybody, if you want to make this dude kill himself, like, haha, it's a funny meme."
Exactly.
Like, dude, by the way, at the time, like, everybody thought that shit was funny. Like, it's weird that in retrospect we're like, that was awful. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Well, nobody really
cared. That Matani
and not to mention the inconsistency of the punishment applied. He caught like no punishment and top punishment that was way too
literally, I'm bad for this, so please, you know I'm a hypocrite for it. But
honestly, like, I can't judge. I actually laughed when that happened. Like, whatever.
Let ProGod say something.
What?
Okay.
Whatever you said that 3 other people were doing at the same time.
All right, so I remember the thread not started pretty quick. I remember watching it, and honestly, like, even though I wasn't a big fan of it, like, I didn't think it was a big deal at the time. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I understood why CCP had to do what they did because it was, broadcasted live on the internet. But the backlash thread started pretty quickly. But I mean, you could just go back and watch the video. I mean, there's some good people I know on stage laughing their ass off as he's doing it. There's a couple of them shaking their heads, but most of them are laughing. Most of the room's laughing.
Well, what was the context of that whole panel? It was something that people they were looking forward to that panel because it was so outrageous. It was the Alliance panel.
Yeah,
it was the Alliance panel.
Pretty outrageous.
It was the Alliance panel, and the Alliance panel had been known to be kind of a drunken, I mean, hell, before there was an open comms, there was a goddamn FanFest Alliance panel where they were drunk up there and
they were trashed to shit. Matani was
wonder...
getting fed shots during that panel, like shit.
Yeah.
You wonder why they don't have another one again. They haven't had the last 2 FanFests.
Well, they have had Alliance.
They have it, but they don't stream it. They don't stream it.
I think they have a no alcohol to the presenters rule.
Yeah.
Or something.
Damn.
That's just
that rule's not in effect.
Things change because of the things that happened in the past. Okay, that particular event with the Wizard Hat made CCP look at things a different way because it happened on their stage in front of gaming press, in front of people affiliated with in other ways, maybe investors and things like that, right? It was, and then when the community, kind of lashed out at it and it began to take on, sort of a life of its own, they had to react to that, and they've been kind of changing their ways ever since. We can go back to a time in this game when, look, the Harden the Fuck Up video, it was really about people who break the rules of this game. Don't cry that we're coming down on you for breaking the rules of this game, but it took on kind of a secondary thing of everybody harden the fuck up. If your ship gets blown up, harden the fuck up. If somebody says something to you, harden the fuck up. But that really wasn't what its intention was. Now, I will say that I think that CCP allowed that to kind of take on its own secondary life in a way, but
I thought
this is a different time.
I also agree he caught a 30-day ban for that. GigX caught a lifetime. Like, that's why I think GigX should maybe not... I mean, by now it's too late, don't get me wrong, but like at the time, a 30 days seemed more appropriate than a lifetime ban for this shit.
But he has a history. He has a history of making threats.
Dude, I mean, let's be real. If you put that much effort and work into your alliance and some dude takes it away from you overnight, like, you're going to say some pretty angry things. Like, let's be real.
Dudes that come home and catch their wives cheating with other people get off on murder because it's temporary insanity.
Well, I mean, I guess that's one of the questions, and we actually got into the GigX part a little bit sooner than what I wanted. But I understand that this is sort of that, this is sort of the headline news out of this big thing. Eve player says something terrible to another Eve player, which, if you've been around any length of time in this game, you've seen on countless different ways.
This is literally the first time it's ever happened.
Yeah, this is literally the first time it ever happened.
Never happened before,
but I do want to ask a legitimate question, because I know people in this game that have an extremely liberal outlook on life, okay, and how I need to have a better understanding.
Are we talking please tell me we're not talking politics.
No, we're not.
Can we talk politics real quick?
Hold on. We're not talking politics. I promise we're not talking politics.
I have lots of opinions.
We're talking about is there no path to rehabilitation for something like this? Is there no path for, I don't know, some form of restorative justice, or is it just the Eve
company, not the judicial? Like,
I agree with you. No, I agree with you. I agree with you in that case.
So real talk, like, yeah, GigX could probably learn, but I mean, let's look at the times we live in. Let's say CCP didn't do something about this, like harsh, like, permanent ban, and then they just let it go, and later on some random player who's been in trouble for threatening people in real life before actually does something to someone in real life, and then it comes out that CCP knew about this, knew this guy had done this, and they didn't ban him anyway. They're gonna get a lawsuit.
They actually have liability.
It wouldn't surprise me if they actually consulted their in-house legal team about this before taking action.
Absolutely.
They
do this. Dude, they banned
Wasn't
gambling.
Pellegro watching in the chat? I thought Pellegro was watching in the chat.
I'm still upset they banned gambling. I actually really enjoyed Eve gambling.
I'm reading a comment out there. GigX is a toxic leader who is abusive to his membership. Guess what? Y'all free. Get the fuck out from under his leadership. Quit being a bunch of little bitches and walk the fuck out. You don't have to be a traitor and a thief on the way out. You could just man the fuck up and walk away.
Yeah, they're not battered spouses, right?
Yeah, you're not battered spouses, corporation bitches out there.
And here's the thing. I was in CO2 for quite a while. And I think that GigX, I don't know, I've heard stories that he's not friendly to, other corp leaders and like various leadership in the alliance, but how many times I talked to GigX? I was in that alliance for, how long were we in there, Dirk? Like 7 months, 8 months? You know how many times I talked to Gigs? 0. I never saw him online, I never talked to him, never heard him speak it's like he was like this leader. He was kind of like MacTep. It's like he's this leader that doesn't actually exist, but he's actually there.
So CO2, their entire leadership, everything they do is Balkan Mafia. All Alliance shit is Balkan Mafia. They don't let anyone outside of Balkan Mafia really have the reins on anything, except like maybe FCing, but even then, like, GigX can come and just like shit on you and take away your privileges if you're not in Balkan Mafia.
Yeah, it's just like, as far as the judges, like, I honestly, like, I don't scam.
No, we're not going to get on the judge yet, because we're going to wrap up this headline issue of chopping off hands. By the way, can we just make it clear, unless somebody can send me a goddamn screen print right now, nobody ever said chopping off hands, despite the fact that...
Is it nobody or is it Giga?
All right.
Nobody ever said that.
Any reasonable person reading what GigX said would imply that that's what he meant.
That there was something to do with damaging of the hands and or removal, right?
Video game threat and be like, okay.
Well, he didn't mean that he was going to be busy holding all the fruit baskets GigX was going to send him.
I don't know. Maybe he was going to send him a bunch of cupcakes. No. Okay. Wait. There were words about removal and things like that. Yes. Okay. But what I'm saying is that headlines out there say chop off, and and this is kind of the exaggeration. The story was bad enough. The headlines associated with it were worse.
To what was actually said. I think what he actually said, it was something like, enjoy typing on your keyboard while you can, which it's like that's kind of open ended.
Now,
maybe you're right. Maybe he didn't imply chopping off his hands. Maybe he implied killing him entirely. They would both fit the context.
Maybe he implied before he was. Maybe he implied he was going to be kicked from Alliance.
For either or of those.
Right? Like type in Alliance chat while you can before I kick you from Alliance. Like
to be honest, when
you can imply a lot.
Well, I would say like so the whole chopping off is implied, but it's like to be honest, like when I heard that, my mind went to what was that movie, Casino, where like they bust the guy's hands up with a hammer in the back room. That's kind of like
look.
What my mind.
I think we can be real. This is exactly the reason Trump is building the wall. We're gonna keep those bad dudes out.
Well, all right. So let's be real. Like
You're an idiot.
A lot of things had to happen for GigX to get the permanent ban, and you know, if this wasn't getting streamed, maybe he doesn't get it. If he does do it on Alliance chat, maybe he doesn't get it. The thing, before I get into it, like, I don't think he deserves a permanent ban, but at the same time, like, you can't just sit here and say he doesn't deserve anything. Like, oh, he was just mad. Don't worry about it. Like,
though.
Right. So
that is actually one of the decent things I think about this particular.
Show, yeah.
That is one of the things I think that is pretty decent about this entire Drama Fest is, like, well, the other day I said it. I have yet to see GigX did nothing wrong. Okay, and then literally about like 10 minutes later, I look at a channel and there it says GigX did nothing wrong, and I'm like, oh, for God's sakes. Most people are not saying GigX did nothing wrong. Most people are saying, yes, what he did was wrong, and then they debate the severity of the offense, right?
So I actually saw something that I saw a couple people say like Eve is real, you know, as part of their argument. That kind of worried me, because that's part of the problem, right? Is that people take this shit way too seriously. So, you know, people are like, oh, you know, he took so much away from him. He disbanded his alliance and all that. Like, anyone would be saying that shit. And I'm like, yeah, but that's not a good thing, because this is still just a video game. I mean, like, holy shit. Like, this is the game we play. You know stuff can happen, you know. It sucks, but, like, you can't just excuse shit like that. Or you have to take a stand eventually and say, we're not going to excuse it anymore. Which, that's why, you know, back to what I originally said, they haven't consistently enforced this shit, so they can't really start now.
Well, and that's one of the things, right? Is that some people have talked this week about how the culture of Eve has changed over time. Because again, years ago, people, all right, shit was fucking worse. I mean, stuff like this, the norm. Other things, way worse than what they are freaking right now. The culture has changed. But the only way that you can actually get the culture to continue to evolve is if you basically show you're gonna have to make some examples out there in order to tell other people, watch your shit, back it the fuck off. I mean, there's stuff that we used to say on the show, and I don't mean the stuff that I said that was like out of line for a lot longer than that. Okay, there's stuff we don't even remotely even get close to it anymore. I mean, if you think this shit gets crazy when I get fucking drunk now, or when these guys get fucking drunk now, nothing compared to what we used to say, because there was shit that was tolerated more back then.
Well, I think the real lesson here is not to type it in the client. I mean, he could have gotten a lot more leeway if he hadn't put it inside the client.
But people shouldn't believe that either.
True. It's the reason
I'm
he got
100%.
No, the real lesson is don't do
the reason he got banned is because that was an in-game client. If he'd done that anywhere else, CCP would have turned a blind eye because it wasn't in their services. And we've seen countless examples of this. Like,
I don't know if they would have, though.
So as somebody has gotten out-of-game threats related to people in-game, they do not get punished. You do not get punished at all until you make something in-game. And I have filed plenty of reports and seen plenty of people still in-game.
Okay, and this is actually one of the things, you know what, because you brought that up, I'm going to link it out there. I don't typically link freaking articles from Minor Bumping and James 315, but you know what, James 315 is one of those writers who, number one, I think he writes actually rather well. He actually goes into a bit of depth, and he goes through this about threats that people from code have received over time from lonely ass high sec miners and shit, okay? Kind of like the article I wrote a few years ago about the naming conventions in this game and how bad the names were and things like that violated the policies. And some of these people got banned, others didn't, okay? And this is kind of one of the problems that CCP has had. Whenever we have one of these situations that deals with somebody getting banned, okay? Doesn't matter. fucking Summer Blink or Erotica 1 or any of these things that have happened over time, one of the debates that constantly comes up is equal protection under the EULA. Are you actually doing this on a consistent basis, or are you just kind of handing them out when something seems bigger than the one that happened before it, and you let that one go?
This is why I don't think he should get a permanent ban for it. Like, this is why I think permanent bans should be reserved for, like, the worst of the worst, like blatant cheating and like I mean, it's really hard. First, it's hard for them to say like, oh, they don't change every single name or they don't enforce every single thing. You know, they really only act on stuff that gets reported, and not everything gets reported. Yeah,
but they can barely act on the stuff that gets reported.
I know, they barely act on
weird.
It's because the game is full of salty motherfuckers that are constantly threatening and saying bad shit.
No, I mean,
they would need to hire like 1,000 people just to go through all that crap.
Yeah,
Can we go back?
I'm of the position, as long as they don't permanently ban someone, I don't mind them, you know, selectively 30-day banning people who really deserve it for doing it in really terrible situations.
Well, the thing I don't understand is like, look at other games. Like, look at any other salty community. Like, go play a game of CS:GO and see how many times people tell you to go kill yourself.
Other games would have banned the judge for what he did. Other games would have banned the judge and given CO2 all their shit back.
Right.
You can't even start to compare to other
right.
games.
Yeah, but the thing is, like,
you can't compare other games from that.
I'd say, because other games have rules where you're not allowed to scam and steal and stuff, and so if you do that stuff, you get banned. But EVE, it's like you're allowed to do it. So what the judge did, I think it's shady and shitty, but it was within rules. Like, he's allowed to do that.
It's a game mechanic, man.
But wasn't? Let me go back a second to the racial overtones. You know, he's coming from. The racial overtones.
Not racial. Are you talking about what I was saying yesterday about the cultural?
Do you mean because he's not Caldari? Because you're right. That is pretty horrible.
Matterall, please tell me we're not about to do this. Really?
We are.
Wait, Matterall, is this about ethics and video game journalism?
No. I apologize for saying you're an idiot earlier. I totally was out of line. I apologize. But I do want to tackle this. A cultural issue. He comes from Bosnia. No, where does he come from? Serbia. Which is a scary Eastern Bloc place. In Russia, we talk about Russians and how we fear them. They'll turn off your electricity, and cutting your hands off plays right into that kind of mysticism, doesn't it?
I mean, it's still a company with still very real liability issues, and it can't take things like that into account for sure. Like, it doesn't absolve the mobility if the dude comes from a hard life.
Matterall, maybe you'd have a case another time, even though I think that's complete bullshit.
Like, why didn't people...
hold on. I'm willing to give you the benefit of the doubt, except for the fact that everyone was literally waiting for GigX to do this the moment that it happened, because he has a fucking reputation for it, and it's well earned. He does it all the fucking time. Yeah, when I saw that, when we were sitting on comms discussing this at HiCam, when we saw the judge streaming it on comms and we saw GigX start talking in Alliance chat, we were literally, oh my god, it's only a matter of time. Like, that's all we said. Like, we were like, he's gonna get banned.
No, but why didn't people think that he was gonna break his fingers, for instance, instead of chopping his hands off so they couldn't identify his body, kind of thing?
What?
What?
What are you talking about?
That last part you added in there about not being able to identify the body is a new twist on all this.
They use teeth to identify the body.
You're going to a racial place.
You know, the mafia, the whole mafia angle, and you know, that's why did people think they wanted to chop his hands off?
There were a lot of people that tried to talk GigX out of being a rager when that shit was being live streamed. Let's be real. Like, it wasn't like he did this and nobody was warning him everything like this was happening. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm sure I wasn't the only one that tried to hit him up. I'm sure dudes in fucking leadership and CO2 did too.
Like, I mean, the hands cutting off thing, like, it was just the way he said it. The way, like, he had already asked for his personal information before he said this, which didn't help his case. Right. So after asking for his personal information, he's like, enjoy typing, you know, with your hands. Which say typing with your hands and then say while you still can. Just the way he said it.
Well, how else?
Do we think
it's going to get to his house if he doesn't ask for personal info?
Again, I think context plays a huge part in it, and I think that anybody that had their alliance taken out from under them like that would say some pretty hurtful things out of anger as well.
Do we think that any part of the
severity, he's Serbian or whatever?
Do we think that any part of
there's a difference between saying hurtful things and being like, can any you get me his name, address, and where he lives, and phone number, and all of his personal information.
So I do that all the time.
Look, I've spent a lot of time trying to get tests to like
I ask for people's information
a better
all the
place
time.
than it was in. I can't tell you how like unbelievably mad I'd be if someone like did that to test. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
sure.
I don't know what
at
I'd
the same
say.
time,
I
like,
can't say that I'm.
Yeah,
like,
but you
I'm
know,
rational now. I don't know that I would be then. I don't know.
Yeah,
what I'd say.
but that's
Keep
the argument
typing. I'm
everyone-
gonna
I keep
slam
hearing
your
people
fingers
say
in my
that.
Subaru's door.
I keep hearing people say that. They're like,
I'm gonna turbocharge Subaru drive over your hands.
no, but that's what I keep hearing is people are just like, well, what would you expect him to do? And every time I'm like, not threaten to cut his hands off?
No,
nobody
nobody
would expect. Look, nobody expects that the rational.
Crossed, but I can't blame him for like speaking out of that level of anger.
Okay, nobody expects that the rational fucking answer to this, okay, was that. All right, but then again, when we deal with human beings on a normal friggin' basis and have to make excuses for them in society fucking constantly, it's because they didn't act in what would be a rational basis, because for them at that moment it was an irrational situation.
Well, yeah, and people are not rational actors, and we have to EULA around that.
I think we're talking in circles here, like.
Well, we are
yeah,
to some
he
extent.
did
That's why I
something
kind of wanted to
bad,
wrap
he
up the
doesn't
GigX
deserve a
thing, because that's the
permanent
emotional one.
Yeah, it's the one that requires therapy for everybody.
So I mean, Matterall brought up the part about whether or not, look, there should be some understanding for different cultures and how they approach things and what they see as being as wrong as, I don't know, some soft-ass motherfucker living someplace else. Okay, I mean, I think that there is an element of that, but it doesn't matter because we all are expected to sign on to the same EULA.
I don't think it has anything to do with where
where
he's
you're
from at
from.
all.
If you ask for my personal information, I'm gonna report you. I don't care if it's part of
Hey,
your
Pro
culture
God,
or
can I have your
anything like
personal
that.
information?
Yeah, what if Rain asks for it?
I'm not gonna lie, I ask for people's personal information all the time.
I don't petition
Rain, if you
because
get this
snitches
show
get
taken off
stitches.
the air, you're fired.
Yo, Dirk, mail me or give me Drayden's phone number.
If Rain
I
asks
will
for some,
smack the taste out of your mouth.
if Rain asks for information from somebody that was personal, measurements would be going over the internet immediately.
Wait, what?
I'm not sure what just happened.
People would be giving you their information.
Oh yeah, people give me that offer. I mean, Casper posted TikTok posted a picture of Casper with a "Make Mamaka Great Again" hat. I sent him that. Like, I mean, granted, I don't dox people, so like, there's a difference. Like, it's one thing if you give.
Yeah.
So like, if I'm like, oh my god, like, Dirk, I haven't heard from Drayden at all. Do you know his phone number? And so Dirk sends it to me. He's like, oh my gosh, yeah, like, yeah, I know he lives in this city. Like, have you heard from him? Blah blah blah. You know, it's like, it's the context of it. So obviously, in this context, GigX was trying to dox him to try and do whatever the fuck. But it's different in different circumstances, right? So like if I'm trying to get, say, like Suetonia's address and it's close to his birthday, I'll probably mail him something. Or, if I
yeah, that's different.
So like, or like I have friends in Florida, like Sindel and Panda are both in Florida, right? So if I'm like, oh my god, Sindel, are you okay? Here's Panda's phone number if you need help. It's stuff like that.
You just doxed the shit out of him. Nice job.
Jesus Christ.
100%
But there's a difference between like asking for personal information, especially if it's from that person, and then releasing that to everyone.
Him on a stream like this.
Right.
Well,
Yeah, so if I'm like, yo, Drayden's full name is, and that's doxing, or here's his phone number, or this or that.
It's also
or here's the state.
It's a context thing in the fact that it's like the situation you just described. People wouldn't see you asking for my information as something malicious because it sounds like you're trying to help. But when someone just had everything that they have put a lot of time into stolen from them by someone that they really trust, and then now they all of a sudden want to know where that person lives, and while they're saying this, they're super pissed. You can
maybe he was like secretly happy.
Okay, I was actually talking about this. I was actually speaking with Roy. Me and Brandon are talking in chat about this. It's like, could you go on some technicality that it's like, oh, he never specifically said, like, in some courtroom thing, maybe. But like when you look at it rationally, it's like he's making threats. I mean, like plain and simple.
It's a private company. There's no due process. There's no legal system.
That's right.
There's no judicial
Yes,
whatever.
it's like they do not have to go through they do not have to give you legal representation or any of this stuff or a fair trial. They can just be like, you know what,
your accuser.
This is what we think you meant, and so you're out of here. That's basically what they're allowed to do.
That is the bottom line, but the reason we're talking about it so long is that there's an emotional component to it. But you're right. I mean, the rules are the rules. As they see them, they can go ahead and lay them down any way they want. What he did is explicitly the worst case scenario for them. Did it in public. There's just no escaping this. And
Well,
yet
it's not the
feels
worst
bad.
case scenario for them. However, it is right up there, pretty fucking close. And yes, they have liability on their behalf that if they allow this stuff to go on, what what I want to end with, as far as the last question to all of you at this point, or whoever wants to answer it in kind of a brief period of time, is: do you believe that this incident will do something to kind of change the behaviors of some other ones out there that that are maybe kind of rolling around and doing and saying similar things? And I don't just mean about violence. I mean about maybe even stepping even further with some of the other shit that if they realize that CCP may in fact actually be cracking down on some of this shit, you do shit in their fucking game client. Do you think that their game client, or even related to this game publicly, do you think that that is going to have an effect, a chilling effect on bad behavior?
Game client only. Game client only.
The kind of people who do this kind of stuff don't really think before they do things. So
I want them to be able to have an involvement with certain aspects of things that are out of game services as well, but not because of the GigX event, but because there's a flip side to this where you need to contact CCP because somebody in your alliance has expressed like an intent to do self-harm.
So CCP already does
do
that.
Anything. Well, okay.
CCP already does that.
You say that, but the last time we tried to get them involved, they didn't do that. And the GM they sent went to local where this dude was located and said, "Hey, I heard you intended to do self-harm." So
they have a behind the scenes.
Is that how the process goes with
it
that?
may be you've seen something I haven't. I couldn't tell you, but the last time I had to be involved in this process, unless it was done through in-game chat services, they wouldn't touch it.
But
everything I know is that
do they actually have the information to be able to go and do something, like that? I mean, I have heard stories.
No, I've heard stories from CCP saying that, like, a lot of times, like, when you submit a ticket for something like that, that they will actually reach out. The CCP themselves, I don't believe, can reach out, but they will contact, like, local authorities to try and reach out.
I have asked them to do that for a couple of situations, and they have refused to do so. So I'm not sure if that policy has changed recently. I honestly don't know. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt if you know, but the last time we tried to do this was pretty brutal. Right? Yes, exactly, because it was on our Mumble server and not on, like, in-game, so he wasn't chatting about it.
Shitty.
Look, I understand the position they're in, but it's like, I kind of feel like it has to be, like, you have to expand that influence. Like, if you're looking to protect this kind of stuff, like, it's a greater community, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you can only say that you're ethical about these kind of things so far without, you know what I mean, going the next extra mile to make sure that people are safe.
Yeah, so I don't think this is going to have any kind of shakeup at all. I think people are going to continue to do the things they do and continue to do the things out of game that they do because there's no consistency with how this kind of stuff is applied, honestly.
Well, I guess, then they're putting themselves at risk, right? Because I'm going to tell you right now, being a content creator doesn't fucking save you from this stuff. Being a fucking name certainly doesn't, because that just means there's probably more people watching the mistakes that you made.
That should never even be a thing. The people who wanted him to just be excused because he was a content creator, like he's some super good quarterback who gets away with everything in high school. Like, I mean, that's ridiculous.
Happens. That's a real thing.
I know. I was all proponent for it when I was
professional swimmer.
When I was a senior and we had this really good
Tom Brady.
It's like pro football players getting their hookers buried after they kill them.
Yeah, I mean,
it's
normal.
You can deflate all the balls you want.
When I was a senior,
fuck you, Drayden.
Oh my god.
Sorry, go ahead. Sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
Oh no, I'm all for it. When I was a senior and we had this really good freshman running back come to our school, I went to all the freshmen at lunch the first day, and I was like, so if Jamal doesn't get good grades, guess whose fault it is? And one of those freshmen was like, Jamal? And I was like, no, it's your fault. If he doesn't pass and can play football, it's your fault. See,
is it racist that you referred to him as Jamal?
That was his name.
Not if it's his name.
That's
not
pretty
if it's
racist.
the truth.
It's not racist when it's true.
He's a white guy from the suburbs.
Why is it racist if his name is Jamal and he plays football?
Anyways. Not to be the voice of fucking keeping that shit on track.
Yeah. We're not baiting on that tonight.
All right, but yeah, we are gonna move over. We're gonna move over to, you know what? I'm gonna take this actually in two parts. Okay, there's the betrayal, and then there is the kind of
tomfoolery.
No, there's the person that helped to kind of flip the betrayer. So I want to go more from the Aerith standpoint here. Is there anybody here who has any problem whatsoever with what Aerith was able to kind of manipulate from his end in order to get after, CO2 by going through the judge?
Okay, I have absolutely no problem with what they did. Well, that's all fair. Flip the enemy, you know, number 2, second in command, get him to hand over shit, great. As an ex-CSM member, and this is separate from test, I am not really thrilled with the way that they're... Yeah, I get it. They did it at the CSM dinner. That's fine. You know, it's not a event that's like related to getting anything done in the CSM. I just don't like the way they refer to the CSM and the fact that, like, yeah, we got on there and we started looking for our marks on who we can flip, because goons don't really have a great reputation with the CSM recently. I mean, they had all the shit with Scion where he literally ruined an entire term. Then they had the shit where they tried to get Zenuria and actually got Zenuria elected. And, you know, just to hear them once again say that, you know, we were on the CSM, yeah, to kind of help with the game, but also to look for people to flip and alliances to collapse. Like, that's not the spirit of the CSM. I didn't like the way they did it. I don't have any problem with the play.
Where did they say that was the... Sorry, where did they say that was the entire intention?
That's in the
Kotaku article.
The Kotaku article made it sound like they were just... Maybe that's just a Kotaku article. It made it sound like they were just using the CSM, you know, and of course you can have all kinds of arguments about how everyone uses the CSM, but, you know, it's just... It's
well,
not the way
okay.
I like to
you can actually
CSM
go back to
referred
other things other than the Kotaku article. You can go back to the broadcast that Aerith put out as this thing was beginning to go down. I'm the greatest CSM ever.
Yeah.
I flipped Judge at the summit.
But that was an internal audience.
And then, of course, the direct quotes from Aerith from the Kotaku article that said, you know, I was really getting kind of sick and tired of this whole CSM thing, but this thing really made me love it again. So, like, I love being on the CSM because of these shenanigan type things.
Look, and let's be real here. This is like a real minor complaint. Like, CCP obviously doesn't give a shit. So, you know, it's not a big deal. I didn't like it when I saw it, but, you know.
I mean, I don't like the event itself, but, like, let's be real. Like, this kind of stuff is what draws people to this game. That's one of the more Eve things that can happen in an MMO.
Yeah, but when you're on the CSM, you're supposed to kind of be impartial, you know, speak...
Impartial to what, though? I mean, you're still a human being.
I understand your point, like, but it's not... I don't think it works like that anymore. Like, it's not an altruistic body.
That's the
Look, like I said, I don't mind that they did it. They did it at the dinner and all that. I just don't like the way they implied that was the only reason they do CSM shit is to flip people. That's all I'm saying. Like, it's just...
Free ticket to Iceland. Free ticket to flip Judge.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. You get a free trip. You get a free ticket to Iceland to get flipped by goons. It's not a bad deal.
And there has been some mixed opinions
I mean, that
out there.
Kotaku article is one of the big media articles that everyone's linking to. I mean, other news sources are linking to that article as like the definitive source, and here they are talking about how we just got on the CSM looking for people to flip and.
No, well that's not exactly what it says. It says that when they were going to this thing, that was one of the things that they were going to kind of like measure, right? It wasn't the reason why they got on the CSM or their primary goal of being on the CSM. It was just another one of those things. So let's not take it, too far.
Right.
Can I
disagree.
Can someone pull up the article and actually quote what it is they said, just for the listeners?
And while we're doing that, can we please note the fact that it's not just the CSM Summit where people go to metagame in real life. People do it at meetups all the time. So just to make it clear that people don't just go to CSM Summit. Or
Yeah, like I
Marine
said, I have
Master,
no problem
fucking
with it
Spy
doing it
Master.
in real life, and I honestly don't even have a problem with them doing what they did at the CSM dinner because I've been to that dinner before and I know there's no big deal about it. It's just I didn't like the way it was talked about. Like that was like I said, it's just
I got
a
you.
wording thing. It's honestly not a big.
I actually have the quote here, so just give me a moment.
Yeah.
Aerith,
No, take your time.
Aerith would be the primary implement of the Mitanni's revenge, though at the first summit of the 11th CSM, mind you, people, we're in the 12th CSM at this point. No one knew that. The Imperium CSM candidates, Inamina and Aerith, entered a summit with a purpose. He said, quote, "Our first goal was to establish which personalities fell into which categories. Nice but ignorable, hostile and damaging to our game, and a third group, those that we felt we could flip." Quote, end quote.
Weird.
Begin new quote. "We quickly identified 2 CSM members we thought were targetable. Judge was one of those 2, obviously."
Wait, can we guess who the third one was? Obviously it's not Aerith and Dominic, it's Zenuria. You think it's Jin?
It's absolutely Jin.
We all know it's Jin.
Newsflash, everyone's trying to flip Jintan after they lost to Satoya, so...
And I'm not even saying, look, for people out there listening, I'm not saying this is wrong. I don't care if you're on the CSM or not, because we know that when people go to player meetups or wherever it is that they can congregate and get somebody to the side or talk or anything like that, look, plots get hatched. Trying to roll people happens. It happens all the time. So I will not in any way, shape, or form say that this should be something that they should, like, I don't know what, put in the fucking bylaws of the damn CSM.
I don't know. I can see ProGod's point of, like, it happens at meetups, sure. It happens at social gatherings, sure. But CSM is maybe a little different. But at the same time, like,
I'm not
CSM
saying...
isn't really what it used to be. Like, let's be
real.
real.
If you look at it in a deeper way, this could be the second act to the first act of, first of all, make CO2 pay a price, which they did. Secondly, who's the other enemy? CCP for fucking them over during Casino World War B by making them look bad and destroying their institutions.
I prefer us being referred to as the coalition of the billing. Thank you very much.
Well, see, there is that part of it. I honestly would be less mad if it was someone else. But as Madderall pointed out, goons now have a reputation for not publicly not liking the CSM. I mean, they were very public about it when they were running Zenuria, that they were doing it as kind of like a middle finger. I think the CSM does good work, so I don't like it when I see them.
Yeah, I mean, they ran him as a middle finger, and then he turned out to be a pretty okay, by all accounts, CSM.
Yeah, maybe.
But I don't think anybody saw that one coming.
Outside of the actual CSM tag itself. Is there any gripe with with what kind of they were able to apparently pull off?
No, it was completely fair play, and like I said, it was even completely fair play to exactly the way they did it. I just don't like some of the words they chose, referring to the
It's
CSM.
heckin' rude, but it doesn't mean anybody got bamboozled.
Right.
Yeah.
No, exactly. I mean, look, you had two adults up there.
If I had been in that position, the judge had approached me the way he did them, I'd absolutely do that. In exactly the same way, too, because, I mean, the judge is done. Goons look great doing this. I mean, they look amazing. And I can't believe that the judge is just allowing himself. I mean, if you read that Kotaku article, it's all about how, like, goons approached Judge and slowly, like, manipulated him and flipped him. And Judge's quotes are just juxtaposed right there. Like, yeah, I knew they were fucking flipping me, but oh well. Like, it's just fucking hilarious.
I love my nipples tweaked.
Well, who doesn't?
I'm a cheap hoe.
Loves the belly.
$300 billion for a keepstone.
You saw Matani rubbing his belly, right?
Yeah, we're at the 1 hour mark.
At the end, he was like, I knew at the summit that they were going to try and work me, but, I wanted to do it anyway, so...
I think that's his way of saying I was still in ultimate control.
Fucking excuse.
Which may or may not be.
Well, no.
So much fucking bullshit. It's just fucking his whole story is so much fucking bullshit.
Well,
that's funny because I heard he actually approached Aerith about the whole thing.
Yeah, might have happened.
Well, I'm sure he did. The way that a disgruntled NSA agent walks up to a bar going, I hate my fucking job, and the Russian says, can I buy you a drink?
I don't believe Aerith's story either. I believe Judge when he says he was still in control at the end, because I know for a fact Judge wasn't thinking about doing this at all up to 2 weeks ago, because he was 100% on board with everything that was happening until he figured out that we were actually considering resetting him for it. And that only happened like 2 or 3 weeks ago. So whole like long burn, slow burn bullshit, just complete bullshit.
That's right. You put that on Reddit, didn't you?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I was gonna get to that because sorry, I've been like. I
just want to say something real quick because I want to respond to Eve Clavis out there. PGL talking over people is the best part. What I want to say is this: this is one of the reasons why I really fucking like. This is one of the reasons why I really like Pro God Legend to come on this show, because I know that he can go fucking verbal combat with anybody. Just so everybody knows, this is not fucking talking in stations. This is not fucking like these other places.
When spoken to, this is like you got something to say, you say it. Now it's like
you do, but one of you has kind of got to give up to the other one.
It takes a nice balance.
Talking stick? Can I get the talking stick?
Yeah, there's no fucking talking stick here.
Get it, bro.
Other's we just beat people with talking sticks.
I'm kind of
that's
a
the
big
way
deal.
we go.
Just give me the talking stick.
You got the conch.
I'll fill out the rest of your show. I got this.
You got the conch. No, it's one of those. You gotta have a nice balance. Like, you don't want to be super rude, dickish, and just be like,
That's
never
when we get
give
the most
anyone
views,
a chance to talk. But you got to be able to wedge yourself in there if you need to.
It shows Dirk versus the world.
Just wedge it on.
Anyway,
you're lucky Dur isn't here. Oh man.
Oh yeah, what I was gonna say is like I've been doing.
Raiden.
Yes.
Go on.
Oh, I was just. I got the conch. So I was gonna say, like, we've been talking about this stuff, and I've been dealing with chat, but like we haven't gotten to the PGL Reddit thing yet, have we?
Well, no, we have not gotten to that. Now, one of the questions that I do want to ask here, okay, is when did anybody in test find out that when did you find out? When did you become part of the conspiracy? How did that go down for you guys?
We found out it was happening when the Keep Stars switched to Goons. Like that was we literally were finding out about the same time everyone else was. We had no fucking idea. Goons
it's
didn't
a pretty obvious sign,
tell us
right?
or anything. Yeah.
Did okay, so that's when you guys found out. So obviously you weren't in on the fucking no.
And
this is probably a very tight.
We get Goon pings too, so we kind of put 2 and 2 together. Once we saw
So
the
you-
Keep Stars switch to the Goons.
There was
and then
somebody
we
the
saw
other night
Eric's
in the
ping.
Talking Station show that said they knew about this weeks ago. I personally think they're fucking full of shit. And this is one of the problems that I have with all of these highliners that, you know, are supposedly fucking Diplos and really deep into the fucking meta out there and shit. You can't trust any of them. I can't trust that Kotaku article. I can't trust what fucking Era says. I can't trust what any of these people say because you know what? They've all got their freaking meta that, not that they were playing then, but that
just like
they're continuing to play now.
Everyone spins it in their favor to make them look better, right?
Right.
Like the Casino War instead of World War B.
Right.
Or
Like
World
when,
War B, the
like when
Casino
Judge
War.
says that, you know,
World War
Eric
B
just gave
first?
him an out, but he was going to do it anyways. I'm going to tell you right now,
That's you.
Judge doesn't have a set of fucking nuts on him like that, okay? He does not have his own set of fucking nuts to pull this off without somebody else sweet whispering in his fucking ear, okay? It's just the way it is.
Well, we don't. I mean, you don't know that.
I do know
can't
that.
really
He's
say
a
that.
soft
That's
pussy,
not much.
okay? I'm sorry.
Whoa!
This takes a set of fucking
Isn't that a
nuts to
good thing?
come down and kick
You
your
want a hard
fucking
pussy.
fellow mates in the balls like this, okay? And he wasn't that guy. At least he wasn't that guy last year or the year before. Now, he may have been hardened by something that, like, you know, did something to him or whatever. That may have, like, actually been true. But I really think that it did take a handler out there to kind of walk him through the, no, you'll be okay from this. Or he's
Actually-
got CSMitis and he's ready to hang it up in 6 months.
I think
6
he
months
was
from now,
being-
we won't know.
Maybe. I think he was being generous and saying, I did this and I'm giving credit to where credit is due. And Aerith showed me a way out, so I'll give him some credit. I'm going to take care of the guys
No
that...
fucking way.
You don't think
that
that-
is that? No way.
All right.
Any self-respecting person wouldn't let themselves be just like. I mean, Eric's out there going like, "Holy shit, guys! Look how much I manipulated Judge." And Judge is just out there
Yeah, but that's
waving
Aerith.
at it like
Aerith
it's
does that.
unbelievable.
Aerith does that. That's his character. He's his own manipulation is saying, I'm manipulating you. At this very moment, I'm manipulating you.
So that I'm sorry. That's just it's a bitch move. Like I can't.
I don't know. I just don't think that we can say this is not in his character.
I mean, I
until
can't say
it
what I
was.
would do in Judge's situation because I'd never do that. So it's like really, I don't know. I just don't know why anyone would do what he did.
Same,
And just, like, get
TBH.
embarrassed. All he got was a trillionist. Like he gets nothing else. No one will ever trust
Oh,
him
he goes
again.
down in history.
He looks
That's what
like
he
a
wanted.
complete fool. Yeah, he goes down in history. So what? Like who fucking cares?
So
Well,
what,
but-
like
He doesn't
every
play the
3
game
years
anymore,
somebody talks
except
about
as a line
Hargoth?
member.
He goes down in
About
history.
who?
Exactly.
Oh man, all those new
The guy who's
alliances that
got
Hargoth was a
the
part
guy
of
who's
and
got a fucking
influential in, and
statue
everybody
12 times
trusted.
taller
Yeah.
than fucking Judge in the basement of in the basement of the Goonperium. Okay, the guy that pulled off the freaking overthrow of Bob, okay, to end the Great War. Look, his name gets mentioned once in a cold fucking while, right? But you know what gets really mentioned? The people who manipulated him to do it.
Right. Not to mention, Hargoth didn't do anything after that except spam Amar local. Like he was just he didn't
Wait,
play the
what'd he
game
do?
anymore after it.
What did he do?
He
Like-
disbanded Bob.
Yeah, this was. The
Oh,
first
that
move.
guy. Okay.
And back then, like, so I still think that one's worse, even though this one's really bad. Like, I mean, back
That one
then,
was much worse,
doing what
yeah.
they did was the only way Bob, like Hargoth doing what he did to Bob was the only way Bob was gonna lose, because there's no way they were gonna break the Sino Jammer wall otherwise. But like this, though, I mean. You could never do this before. You could just transfer the station. Well, I guess you could. You could just transfer the station. Or you could turn off the SOV. I mean,
You could
it's
turn
just
off the SOV.
ridiculous.
You
Like,
could
one
not
click of
transfer the
button
station
and they
to
were
anybody
stuck.
but somebody in
Everything
your
they had
alliance.
was stuck. That was unbelievable.
And that is one of the things that, you know, maybe we'll get to later when we actually get to like some subtopics of this. But back in the day, you could not just transfer a station to somebody outside of the alliance. It was only inside of the alliance. It's not these fucking POCO rules or anything like that. But Citadel mechanics are something different, and we'll get to that in a little bit. Look, a question came up out there, and it was something that you know, after Test put out their big announcement tonight, going, you know what, CO2, We welcome you guys into this. You know, if you want to come here, as long as you're not part of SRBI, you know, you can come in. Somebody put up the question out there. You put out on Reddit, I think it was 3 days ago, Judge, you did the right thing. Can you kind of square the circle of tonight's test announcement, what you're saying now, and that Reddit comment?
Oh, that little, yeah. I was being facetious. I thought I said I was being facetious. It was just a fun comment. I mean,
well, you said to me that you were being facetious, but that right there
it's
was
also
just
on the comment thread.
It was like
also in the comments thread.
It's also in the comments, yeah.
I mean, it's like, it was a shit show of a thread. I was shit posting.
Hashtag fake news.
Own it.
Okay, I mean, were you in fact being facetious?
Yeah.
Has there been a change because there's actually also, you know, and this is something I didn't have a chance to like ask you kind of beforehand.
Is gonna get banned at the time. I mean,
okay.
Shit, like.
There's
I was
also
pretty happy that we had just won the war, but like I wasn't posted seriously like that. Still, fuck the judge.
There's also an internal, I guess, post on your forums out there that goes into a number of things that happened after this, but really about kind of like, you know, recruiting CO2 members. There's kind of a game. You get like 1 point for a regular pilot and 3 points for a cat pilot and shit like that.
I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about.
There are some people. Sapporo, do you know? Because supposedly this was actually something from you.
Wait, it was from me.
Well, that's what I was told. Now on to Reddit specific stuff.
There is a post I heard that was very similar to that I think was in the Reddit forums. But yeah, why wouldn't we want to recruit that talent? Why would we want that brain drain to leave the coalition? Like, mad or not, war or not, how things ended or not, why would we want good talent to leave our coalition? Like, points and rewards and stuff, like, it's not, like, there's no, I don't know how to put this mildly, but there's really no CO2 left to fight with or protect, so...
Right, this is after the fact.
You might as well, yeah, exactly, you might as well try to pull those dudes into your alliance so you don't lose them from the coalition at all, yeah?
I think this is the first time I've gone to Reddit Mumble in years.
Would have worked?
When was the decision made to release today's announcement that look, we're going to open our doors to CO2 corporations and pilots? Because in a way, I believe that this does change the complexion of kind of what's going on. The question that people are asking out there is you know, was this something that was kind of always in the plan, but you say you didn't know about this until it actually went down, or is this something that you came up with, you know, in order to say, hey, you know what, we had a good relationship with CO2 line pilots at one point, and why not bring them into the fold?
I think the as far as the poaching thing, I'm going to be real with you. Like, after the fact, after CO2 fell apart, yeah, of course we want to poach. Like, we want those dudes in test. We want good, able-bodied pilots in test.
Yeah, but he's talking about the evac thing.
Oh, then yeah, that's all you.
So what did happen? 3 days ago? 4 days ago? The Judgment Day or whatever?
Oh yeah, that was 3 days ago.
So I mean, we found out like we were reacting to it as it happened, and once we figured out what was going on, we realized like, well, shit, goons have a keep star there, and you know, we got to play this carefully, because if we get in a situation where we actually have to kill that keep star, it's going to be a pain in the day. You never want to try, you never want to draw that kind of attention if you can help it, especially when you're fighting a war. So, you know, we kind of just, the first day we kind of just like tried to see what it would take to get that keep star, because we knew we didn't want goons to have it. And once we realized that we were going to get the keep star, we started making the plans to let CO2 Corps out. Because, I mean, we were talking to some of the corps that we were recruiting, and they were telling us about what they had in asset safety. And I mean, you know, you saw CO2 Superfleet's fucking massive. Just the Supers and Titans would be like $1 trillion ISK to asset safety, all of that shit to low sec. That doesn't count like anything else they have. So, I mean, we didn't like what the judge did. Like, you know, like I said, you know, it was pretty fucking brutal. And it's just, if we're going to get the corpse, we're going to get, and we're not going to get the corpse, we're not going to get, so why not? That's basically it.
Aside from the poaching, because here's the thing with my take on it, that which actually surprises me, that a lot of you know, goon members are saying, oh yeah, you know, like, you know, fuck CO2, like they want all of those members to completely lose all their shit and, like, you know, them to be gone, and it's like,
there's not the line members that caused all that.
Well, it's like,
you know what I mean?
It's not the line members and all that. It's just like, people are always complaining like EVE is dying, less and less people are playing, less and less people are playing. So it's like, why would you want people that you can fight against to quit the game permanently, like in droves? Like, I mean, if all the people from CO2 quit, that's like 1,000 people gone.
That's a bullshit excuse. Like, yeah, we told those people we want you to keep playing, don't get discouraged, but like, when you move your shit to a Keepstar or a Citadel, you know that this shit can happen. Like, that's part of the risk.
True, yeah.
This is fucking EVE. That's horseshit.
And look,
I understand the whole alliance is
what are we gonna do?
All this stuff is very easy to say.
Citadel, we gotta, run them a fucking vigil. Like, we're doing this because this is fucking crazy, but. And
no, I'm not saying.
I think we should have a Keepstar.
I'm not saying.
Drayden, go back a couple years ago. Okay, all of this stuff is very easy to say. When people were piling on the average Imperium line member as they were getting ejected from fucking the North and all that kind of stuff, it's very.
What do you mean a couple of years ago? That was literally last year.
18 months ago.
You guys are such baby boomers.
About 18 months ago at this point, right?
Really?
Sorry, April of 2016, whatever, May of 2016.
The old timers or some shit.
It has. Yeah, I mean, it's okay, fine. It's been over a year, but whatever. Anyways, that's not my point. My point is, it's easy for fucking schmucks who, like had nothing to do with it really, to be able to like put that on other people. Just like it's easy now for them to sit there and go, yeah, fuck those guys. Okay, so we have to be able to like kind of like get through the low hanging kind of like just salt from either side.
I think I worded it wrong because I'm not saying like why would you do this to people, and I'm saying like. It seems like a lot of goons are wanting all these CO2 people to quit and get out of the game, which doesn't make sense to me because you wouldn't necessarily want people to quit. I'm not saying like, oh, you don't want these people to quit, so you shouldn't attack anyone. No, fuck that.
No, so there is an argument for wanting an enemy alliance to break apart.
Right, break apart. But you don't want all those players to break apart and then all quit either.
Yeah, you don't want them to quit, but like, let's not. Be real.
But that doesn't mean you go easy on them. I know.
You shouldn't quit over something like this.
Right, exactly.
Can happen. Like we're saying to those people, don't quit because we know some of them are considering it and we don't want them to. But at the same time, like, if they fucking quit over this, sorry.
Yeah, you want to win a war, right?
Well, yeah. So I mean, I don't know. It's like.
And that's the other thing. I mean,
I think I just worded it wrong.
That's the other thing.
And I'll go back. Like, don't fight people.
I mean, hell, I'll go back to the fucking Great War when the goddamn news came down that Bob had been disbanded. While there was a big fucking cheer that went up, there was a bit of a feeling, at least from those of us, I guess, who weren't goons. If you were goons and you really felt it in your fucking core that like Bob had been stepping on your nuts for so fucking long and all that kind of shit, it was different. But for those of us who were just part of fighting the war, it kind of felt empty. It felt weird that like just like one dick pushed a fucking button and like ended something, and that was a really big war. In the goddamn consequential sense of Hargoth disbanding Bob versus Judge fucking up CO2, it's like a fucking mountain and a molehill.
Well,
but not for those pilots. But not for those pilots who were involved.
And Cartoon unplugging goons, not long later, was the same feeling. People are like, well, that was way too easy. But, that's part of the game. That's why there's so many articles out there right now about this. And the dismemberment part, I think, doesn't really do Eve any favors. But aside from that, the betrayal, the biggest one in history, it being important politically for certain regions, war, all that stuff plays right into the narratives that have been going through this game since pretty much the beginning. Except they're so big and complicated now compared to what they were.
But what I will say here is that while obviously CO2 and Triumvirate and the allies there, okay, that they had were I think boxed in. They were going to lose the physical battle on the field, right? Probably eventually.
Wait, I got something to say to that guy, Giseldo 2.0. Goons community was strong and survived Cartoon. You barely survived Cartoon. Goons were thrashed in Syndicate.
Oh, yeah, they were almost done.
They were very close to dead and being beat up by small low-sec alliances. Anyway, go on.
Well, AAA can never die, right? I mean, like, various things in this game just actually can't fucking change.
Goons changed as an entity after that. Like, they lost a lot of the original guard.
Sure. Which absolutely happens. Anyways, I don't remember exactly what I was going to say in terms of. Oh, while there was a likelihood of CO2 and their allies and whatnot losing based on the position that they put them in during this war, right? Goons, the Imperium, really weren't a part of that, right? So this whole thing right here is such a major coup for them because they, from the outside of the war, basically completely fucking dismantled the people that they needed vengeance on. And that's why I give them complete fucking props for that, for being able to pull that off. But from the broader like war angle and all that kind of stuff, man, it's always better to beat your guys, beat people on the field.
Shots.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm going to open a can of worms, though. What does that tell you about that it's easier to do that than it is to actually fight them now in the game?
This isn't easier to do. This is completely random.
It's a smarter way to do it.
This is not like
you wouldn't want to risk
like,
assets trying to take somebody
Alliance
out.
disbands are OP. Please nerf Alliance disbands. Like it happens. It's not like it's random. Like the fact that this happened doesn't mean it's going to happen every time.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, this is difficult to pull off. You need that guy. And now let's get to that guy because I really do want to get to fucking that guy.
Fucking that guy?
You really like the
difference of comments.
Whatever.
Eric, you gotta wait till Vegas.
I never would have heard of that.
I'll be more than fucking happy to wait till goddamn Vegas. Okay, but what I do want to say is this: look, in any of these situations where something like this happens, does that guy ever fucking come out of it clean? I mean, even when they go and they, freaking, get their shitty apartment in Russia with the paint chipping off and get their job at the fucking, manufacturing center the next day.
Let's be real, you mean McDonald's?
When they defect, they're never thought of as much of anything by anybody, right?
Most of there's one people who pulled that disbanded the Nully Renter Alliance and stole the rental income. They pretty much run Snuff now, so like they obviously got to do something again. Granted, it's a low-sec alliance without much risk. So, well, not risk like things they could potentially steal if you were worried about that. Like no more rental alliances to disband. But other than that, like mostly it doesn't work out. I guess Suad, I guess it depends on whether you think he stole that Titan or not. I don't know. I'm not a goon. I don't know that full story, but
is stealing a Titan like a big fucking deal?
Well,
when was the last time stealing a Titan was a big deal?
Many years ago.
Back in
long time ago.
2006. Yeah.
Yeah. Nowadays, like I stole a Titan. It's like that's it. That's all you got.
What else is there?
Fuck! You steal my Titan, you're done. Done. If I could ever.
Are you gonna chop off his hands?
Maybe on the other side of the map.
You stole my Titan? Why didn't you take my 20 Oracles?
Dirk, on the other side of the map, there may have been some betrayals that have ended well, I think. I don't know.
When you say the other side of the map, like what map? What side of the map are you standing on?
I'm thinking between Red Alliance and Solar and those kinds of things. If there's anything over there that I'm not thinking of. I don't know. I'm not leading you. I'm just wondering if that's.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe like you knew something that was hidden inside the entire Russian side of the map, to where it was like it hasn't been translated by fucking Andrew Groan yet or something.
Well, I think Nully also one of those groups that was hard to kill for a while until PL was sicked on them over and over and over again. What's funny is ProGuard, you joined Snuff right after he quit Nully, which to me was really
still
strange.
Friends. See, this is why it's so weird to me. I'm actually friends with the guys who disbanded my rental alliance, and
the training alliance.
Yeah, and I joined their corp after I left Nully.
Yeah, I thought that was like mighty big of you, or you forgot what they
were. One guy apparently it was a group of 3 people who left Elna, and like one guy kind of really did it, and he's not around anymore, and the other 2 were complicit, but weren't the driving force. But they profusely apologized for a while, and I did kick them from Alliance, but we kept in touch, and we just started working together again after a while because they're still really fucking good.
All right, so we got the weekly Wolf Glen donation. So
it's becoming weekly.
Yeah. I just have a strong urge to do a shot right now. For Matterall's.
When
That's
Dirk
the
comes
alcoholic
back,
in you.
When Dirk comes back, you can tell him that he wants to talk about that guy.
Yeah,
I'm back.
Dirk's
What's
back. We got the Wolf Glen hit. So
Yeah.
I don't know if you
All right.
want.
Yep.
Okay.
Nope. I got one for that, and I got one for rain that I owe, and fuck it, I'll drink the last fucking half hour of the show. But no, seriously, I am trying. Look,
thanks, Wolfman.
I am trying to actually keep this reasonably sober on my part and reasonably in fucking line, at least for this part right here.
Whatever, Dirk.
Hold on, because of this, I'm gonna tell you right now, I was fucking charged as fuck over this week, okay? I'm not in CO2. I used to be in CO2, okay? I'm not in fucking the Imperium. I used to be in the fucking Imperium, right? I'm in goddamn fucking PL right now. I really do not have a goddamn skin in this game.
Lame.
You know what fucking bothered me about this? What bothered me about this was not the money he stole, okay?
Let him go.
What bothered me about this was not the fucking money he stole, was not the fucking ships he stole, okay? Was the way he literally, okay, as a member of leadership of that group, okay, fucked every line member that he possibly could in the process of doing it. His goddamn rage was so fucking blinding that he fucked all those people. And I do have a legitimate problem with that.
Hey, look, I don't think you understand. If you read his post on Reddit, he clearly wasn't trying to fuck a line member.
How do you
I know he said that.
It's a video game.
And every single step he took fucked the line member.
How do you test guys have a meeting with both you talking at the same time all the time?
What, dude? Okay, this is just how we do things. Let's be real.
Yeah, but I mean, he posted he didn't want to hurt the line member. Not only does that hurt the line member, he had no problem getting on Twitch and streaming Alliance chat and jerking off to their tears. He was like, oh my god, look how pissed all the line members are. By the way, that I don't want to hurt and I'm really sorry to. Bullshit. Complete bullshit.
Scooter McCabe is a fucking professional scammer in this game, right?
Scooter is a good man.
That is his
Scooter's
profession.
a good man.
He is a cool bro in fucking real life and all that kind of stuff. And you know what? And I couldn't give a shit who he rips off in this game.
Would you let him date your daughter?
Archibald,
I would not let him date my fucking daughter, but there's a whole lot of different reasons besides that. But you know what? When you're somebody who just fucking snaps one day because you can't fucking take it anymore, and you forget everything that you've ever been a part of in this game, and the people that you spent time in with comms in this game, and all that kind of shit, and you just throw it all away because either you're fucking tired of being on the CSM, or you want a little more glam because you got the fucking CSM glam in your pocket, okay? Or some dude fucking whispered in your fucking ear and said, "Oh, but I love you, baby." Okay, I'm sorry.
Is that what happened?
You are literally just a fucking Sandy Mangina that fucking acted out.
Yeah.
Why do you keep making vagina references about
I
him?
said mangina this time because I didn't want to say vagina like I did the other day, but same difference.
Yeah.
All right, and I think you may be giving him less credit than he might deserve, because I think we all have these devils in us. It's a matter of letting it out.
No, if you
Matterall,
have a
would you
problem,
backstab people?
Leave.
Would you backstab people for 1 trillion?
Step
I would.
down.
It's a video game. You could pay me $1 billion and I would sell people out. I don't owe anybody anything. It's a fucking video game.
You're fucking Canadian, bro.
I would not. I would not. I apply my real life morals.
I wouldn't do that.
I'm fine with other people that scam and steal. It's part of the game. That's fine. But I can't do it. I can't because I feel guilty.
I'm pretty smug about the fact that I've never scammed in this game.
Drayton, you steal souls. What's wrong with stealing ships?
What do you mean I steal souls?
You ginger.
What are you talking about, ginger? This is brownish, I don't even know what color.
No, your beard gives you away.
My beard's I kind of have a ginger beard, but
really, what's it take for people to cross that line? Because I think everybody has that line.
Matter. What's your limit? How much do people have to give you before you realize?
Well, let's put me in his situation where I feel like I'm being abused by somebody, and I'm seeing somebody abuse all these other people. Am I going to unplug that guy in any way I can? I don't know. I think then I start thinking about it.
So what? Your solution to him abusing people is to steal everyone's shit?
No, it's here's the thing.
He says he's going to give it back. Some of it. Right?
You're pissed off at your. It's you're part of this alliance. You're pissed off at your alliance leader for whatever he's doing. Guess what? Be a fucking adult and just be like, you know what? I'm done with this and leave. You don't go and You built trust with someone for 5 or 6 years or more, and then you're gonna backstab because I see that as it's not just people oh, it's a video game. It's it's more than that, because the relationships you've built with these people is more than just a video game. You're not.
Should just walk away.
So yeah,
you're not just
you have a problem.
Hold on.
People you're running
My
with.
turn.
Just leave
My turn.
Go
My
over.
turn. My turn.
Did this show suddenly turn into turns?
Yeah, it's my turn. It's my turn.
Go.
My turn.
Your turn.
Okay.
Go.
No, it's not your fucking turn.
If he'd just been a man and stepped up
I'm
and walked
usurping
away.
this conversation because I now have the talking stick.
I want the talking stick.
No, you
No,
can't.
I now have the talking stick.
I can't have it.
I have the talking stick. I have the talking stick.
If he just manned up and stepped away, Gigex would not have paid attention.
You are right. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me. Excuse me. I have the talking stick.
And walk away.
I'm gonna do a shout.
All
right.
Gigex would not have paid attention, and they would have just kept on his business as usual. He had to take all the shit. He had to fuck everyone in order to get Gigex to pay attention. If he didn't do that, he would just would have walked away, and it would have been.
He had to fuck everyone.
Tomorrow.
He had to be a massive dick sucking whore.
Bushalanex, thanks for the sub, man.
Bullshit. I had to steal from those people or else nothing. No, fuck that.
It's
bullshit.
In my opinion, it's like, here's the thing. It's like, if you steal, like, you know, some ship or something from some random person you don't know, not saying that that's right. I still wouldn't do that. But it's like, that's not as bad. Like, the thing that's, like, really, in my moral opinion, is that when you actually build a relationship with someone over years.
Wait,
everything just cut out.
Everything went quiet.
Start again, bud.
Okay, let me start.
Drayden.
Man, I don't even have push to talk on the stream.
Excuse me, I have the talking
your goddamn.
Seriously, I'm gonna tell somebody right now. Listen to me. 10:26 p.m. I got 34 fucking minutes left in this show. We're either gonna fucking hold it together. Or I'm gonna start tossing people out of this motherfucking channel like a madman. So please, let's just hold it together, please. You can all talk like crazy in the fucking after show.
Okay.
Seriously, I'm gonna get fucking Nazi-like in this shit. Okay, you can like say what you want.
All right, so let me just go over. Okay, so man, I gotta restart. So when you build a relationship with someone, it's like that. Even it's a game, but it's like you're still building an actual relationship. Like these are people you talk to on a daily basis, and so it's like I see it as like when you talk to someone every day for 6 years and you've become friends with them, stealing everything that they built in the game, even though it's not real life money. It's no different than stealing a bunch of their shit from your real life best friend that you talk to and hang out with all the time. It's like I couldn't fathom doing that.
There's a big difference.
You're not going to see that guy when you go to work.
The only difference is one has actual monetary. It's like you're not stealing your friend's car as opposed to their video game assets, but it's not the fact of what you stole.
This is where we have to be rational
that you totally
human beings.
Betrayed and backstabbed them. Someone that
wait.
actual
So let's
trust to you. And
right, so let's say it's not stealing. Let's say instead you just weren't there for your best friend. Like your best friend needed your help, and you're like, nah, fuck it, bro. I'm not there for you.
Can we not hypothetical every possible
so
fucking
how about we
hypothetical that's out there?
What's your breaking limit? How much money does it take for you to chill out and betray your friends?
He got nothing.
Nothing. You can't buy me out to betray
that's
my
like
friends.
a bad example.
And you can't buy me out to betray people that I have built, friendships with in Eve either.
Yeah, no, I'm with Drayden. I absolutely would never, so when I lost the Dragoon yacht, it was more than just losing a ship, it was losing the trust that CCP had in me. That was probably the absolute worst feeling that I've ever experienced. And knowingly that Judge went in and willingly done that to other people he's built for years. Shut up, Dirk, don't laugh at me!
I'm not laughing at you, I'm laughing at
you know I'm right, though. You know I'm right.
A mate's eye candy.
I agree with Rainey, and if anybody wants to make an offer on Test Alliance, PSD Sapporo Jones, thanks.
But I linked the YouTube video of a guy I knew less than a year giving me 2 trillion ISK and then me giving it back. I mean, there's no amount of ISK that you could give me to backstab someone. No amount of ISK you could give me to for me to be like, oh yeah, Drayden, fuck you, I'm not gonna help you when I know you need him, or shit like that.
I gotta agree. Just with this video game, you've been doing this, you've been talking to him every day for years. You don't just, if you have a problem with him, you just go I'm sorry, man, I can't do this anymore. You don't, backstab them and steal all their shit.
Can I just pause for a second and say that watching Rain flip out was amazing on stream? I had to actually go back and watch it.
and people can use that whole fucking theory of keep it in game all you fucking want to, but we know that a lot of this, boring ass in-game game, okay, it takes place outside of fucking game, where you get to know people. I'm gonna tell you right now, if Rain, I don't want to say fuck me because that would take on connotations that I would actually throw her ISK for or whatever, but
you did
if she screwed me the fuck over after the time that we've spent talking about personal things and stuff like that, okay, I would feel differently about it than if some fucking rando motherfucker out there, just happened to do it. I would feel different about it, and I would treat it differently, and you can all say what you want, but look, video games are kind of a new... They're kind of a new thing in the grand scheme of where you kind of socialize with people. all right? And you build up a level of trust out there over time. And when somebody fucks that, you feel it the way they did, like, you know, back in the old days with a fucking bowling league or just hanging out with the fucking bros or whatever. And literally back then, I'm not saying I chopped a motherfucker's hands off, but somebody had gotten punched in the goddamn mouth.
I mean, I've seen it before where, like, people get pissed off at each other because of the game, because of circumstance. Like, I saw my old alliance break itself apart when Pizza disbanded. People, I don't know how much people know behind the scenes, but, like, I remember the guys arguing with each other, like, about, you know, how shitty the game was or how much they wanted to leave, and they just walked away from each other. They didn't backstab. They didn't, like, say, like, I would say, like, below-the-belt comments about each other's real lives.
When I'm in space, a good man.
Yeah, but this wasn't about space. This was about other. But like, yeah, you guys know space. There were a couple of them where they just walked away for a while. They were like, you know what, fuck it. Maybe we'll play Dota together. We're not doing this in Eve. And like they just left or whatever. And like I've seen that with a lot of other people in games where they're like, you know what, fuck it. I'm so mad at you. But instead of, you know, being a dick to you, I'm just going to leave because that's the better situation. And that's what, I mean, Pro God, support, you guys were saying that Judge should have done. You just walk away.
Look, man, like, I've been frustrated to the point of wanting to resign as exec a few times in the past. It goes with the territory of being exec for as long as I have. At no point in my time as exec have I ever thought of, man, I could just take all this stuff and just golden parachute out. Like, you put all this work into something, I don't understand the mindset of, I'm just going to watch it burn on my way out the door. Like, I don't understand how that works at all.
Maybe because he's not done playing, though. That's the thing.
Maybe, I mean, sure,
maybe. No, but I'm saying, like, maybe if
he's done playing. He officially he finished himself. Like, he can't do shit anymore. He is nothing but a line member forever. No one will ever let him be anything more than a line member with a shit ton of money.
And this is what I said the other day. Is it's like, look, at this point, when somebody sits there, like, and they're recruiting into their fucking high-sec mining corp, right? They're going to say, well, what time zone are you in? And the person's going to say, well, I'm in the Australian time zone. And they're like, look, before I even get your API, I want you to visually fucking face verify with me on Skype right now. Because I need to know if you're the fucking judge.
Yeah, man, that's why Test does colonic maps, honestly.
What's wrong with being just an alignment member, though?
Right now, if you have a fucking Australian accent, I'm telling you right now, you're going to have a fucking hard time.
Because
I had Australian guys call me up and go, you know what? He does not represent us.
Maybe he's bored of having roles. And
right.
Like,
I was going to say,
like,
you're acting like...
But that's like not a bad way to retire.
Did you talk to Bam?
Like, you get paid and you get the fuck out and you just be a line member. Maybe that's
yeah, but that means he values having a trillionist so he can retire and be a line member forever more than the 3 to 4 years that he spent building that alliance with GigX.
But
like,
everything he built is
gone. He didn't need to steal that shit to retire and become a line member.
All right, everything he built is gone because he goned it. That alliance would have lived on through getting kicked out of their fucking space.
An online thing that doesn't actually matter is gone. Like, if he's like a normal human being, he's looking at it rationally and like, whatever.
Excuse me, if you've been to r/Eve today, you'll see that is grand larceny, my friend.
I do not go.
That is grand larceny.
Dude who does not play shots. I'm doing a shot.
Said that was grand larceny.
Let's actually go.
Far too salty.
Let's actually go back. Let's actually go back to what the test announcement was tonight, because you guys actually threw a different twist on the entire situation. There are people out there that were actually feeling bad for, you know, you feel, oh my God, you know, Judge, his boss didn't listen to him and all that kind of fucking shit, right? You guys threw it out there and said, no, it's bullshit. Judge was actually part of the decisions that were being made at the time. And there is speculation out there about how much GigX was actually part of kind of the diplomatic decisions and all that, whether or not Judge was in fucking Iceland at the time.
Okay, so this is something that we've been asked, that we've clarified a little bit. We're not saying that GigX wasn't like part of it or responsible for doing this. He clearly still made the decisions he did, but like this idea that Judge is coming out and being like, oh, I was distraught at the direction that CO2 was going, and you know, I was, you know, always thinking about this, is complete horseshit. This came out of nowhere in the past 2 weeks. I was completely shocked when I saw what the Judge did, because I thought he had no problem with the direction that CO2 was going with, based on everything we've seen the past 6 weeks. He appeared to be one of the main drivers, and from everything we know, he was. I mean, he's the one that wanted, that always wanted all Faith Abalis when we were originally negotiating all this shit. He's the one that kicked, after agreeing to let Drone Walkers have 2 constellations in Southern Faith Abalis, immediately changing his mind and then kicking, you know, forcing us to be like, reset him, or, you know, if you don't, get them to give us a space. We're just gonna take it. We don't care if you have to reset them. Just like really terrible shit. And
that's the game. That's not terrible. That's how you play you.
Yeah, no, like they're just one alliance in our coalition. Like they basically said like we agreed to give him his space, and then they're like, well, we changed our mind, reset him, or we're gonna hit him. You know, there's people to help take catch with us. You just don't do that. Regardless, he's been wanting to do this shit the whole time. The last time we had to deal this shit when we made the original nip with Solar over Faith of Lawless renters and got them to blue each other, actually. Like, it was the judge who started it up, and we had to come in and, like, you know, deal with that shit.
My notes got completely shit up by your whole fucking response out there.
Like, can we dispense with the fiction that the judge didn't know what he was doing? He knew exactly what he was doing.
That's exactly what this is. That is exactly.
But
he didn't know what he was doing.
I do want to ask I do want to ask the question, because I asked you earlier about like when you guys knew about that and all that kind of shit. Like, you know, one of the questions I had was, is this a long-term relationship with goons, a new coalition? No. What's going on in terms of Test and the entire South? And are you guys like? It doesn't sound like you're on board with this whole fucking shenanigan. But what does that mean? You know, kind of. And I don't mean in the long term, because we know the long term in EVE is like, you know, 3 to 4 months. What does it mean right now? Are you guys aligned with goons against the North?
No. I mean, no. Like, we have a nip with goons like we've always had. Like, this doesn't increase or decrease anything.
Goons and Test are actually getting back together. That's actually the thing.
No.
Yeah, we're reforming
100%.
the CFC, and we're going to call it something better than the CFC, because the CFC was a lame name.
It's going to be HBC, because that's better.
I don't know. It's like I think it's a 50-50. There's a lot of people in Imperium that wish they had kept the CFC name.
What happened to the
It's so
NIP?
much better than the Imperium.
And
what
we're
happened
not
to
in
NIP?
CSM summer.
The CFC
you guys
is
ready
better
to like
name than
actually
the
go
Imperium. I
cave
think
their
we can all
shit in
agree
again?
that it
Like,
was a better
are you
name.
guys with us?
Wait, what? There was like.
Hold on. What happened to NIP during the Casino War? Was that a lapse in
What?
NIP? The Non-Invasion Pact when Test went north.
Could you be more specific about the nip with the goons? Like, what do you mean?
I said you've always had a nip with
then.
this.
We signed it when we took the Southern
we haven't
space.
had any agreements with the Imperium until we moved into Esoteria. Like,
I love the music.
What are you listening to?
Yeah, what's the music?
Yeah,
It's so
is that
good.
okay,
is that a
my
Super
Are you
Bowl
preparing for
commercial in the fucking
karaoke?
background?
And I've been spending time with you, chuckle fucks, instead of my wife, but she has been DJing amazing music.
Is she DJing amazing music as
Are
well?
you gonna do
She's DJing
karaoke
amazing
at
music
Vegas?
to keep herself entertained while I'm on like this shit with you.
If you guys actually had a fucking like real treaty with the you know, goons or whatever, like your wife could DJ at the party they have.
No, I mean I
when
completely
all
agree.
of the like rank and file goons aren't there.
Right.
Look,
on the
anyways, there was no nip prior to like the war and catch. So, like, I think we can all in Test.
Oh, I love this
I've been
song.
drinking a little bit. I think we can all be honest that our World War B involvement was literally for the money. Like, let's be real.
Well, no, I mean, we wanted to kill goons too. We followed
For
it
the
down.
money.
Wait,
For
it was
the
literally
money.
for the money, dude. Come on.
People had
Dude,
different
we
reasons. I know
followed
Pro God wanted
Goons
to kill him.
Delve afterwards. Granted, we got paid for that too, but like.
To be fair, that I feel like that was more a vehicle for your Loki doctrine. I'm just gonna be honest with you.
I didn't get to bring my Lokis though. So.
Pro God's been wanting to kill goons for a long time.
Is that Christina Aguilera? I have to ask.
We
Like,
could've.
what
It
is
is.
this?
It's
I don't
such
know,
a
it
good.
could
It's
be.
Come On
I
Over,
don't
Baby.
decide-
But
This
is
is
it
such
right?
a good song.
I've never heard that
Fountain
song,
War.
but I just
Come on over,
the
baby.
voice
Now,
sounded
baby,
like-
don't be shy. That's that song.
I'm thinking of Pro
Oh my
God during
God.
the Fountain War. He was trying to rally the troops to stick it out.
Rain is excited coming
I'm
out of high
actually
school.
kind of
Dude,
embarrassed that I
Solon,
knew.
are you going to Vegas?
I'm embarrassed that I knew who that
course.
was. And didn't
Oh, so
actually
you're
know
going to
the song.
Of course he
karaoke
is.
night
Hold on.
Thursday with us, right?
This is like a fucking sad Vegas though, because fucking like Pro God's not coming to fucking Vegas,
Oh.
Grass not fucking coming to Vegas. There's like a there are several people who are not coming to fucking Vegas, and it really makes me fucking sad. Except for the people who are not coming to Vegas because they also actually fucking contributed to threats in a channel, and they actually got banned from going to player events. That means that if you were on the fucking waiting list, you may have gotten a fucking ticket today or like, you know, tomorrow.
Who did that? Gigex was going to Vegas?
Some people that like.
How do you get them banned from going to events for making threats? Because I've tried that and it didn't work.
Because apparently that was a thing where they were actually looking in like other people who bought into the making threats is funny thing in Alliance chat and fucking game. Got banned.
Oh, it has to be in
for like 30 days.
Okay,
they got banned for like 30 days, but also from going to EVE player events, and one of those things is fucking EVE motherfucking Vegas. Okay, which opened up spots on the waiting list. So like, because I gotta be honest, I did not believe in that whole fucking waiting list thing until this happened, and then it's like, goddamn, Black Swan ticket to Vegas.
40 people just were like, "Thank you for the death threats."
Exactly. So in a way, there's like there's all these fucking like silver linings and fucking like lead linings and shit of like what happened the other day. Yeah, I mean it's like it doesn't help everybody, but like one of that motherfucker who said I was late, but bam, I'm there.
If they had that, it would be hilarious but morbid and also depressing at the same time, because you know how CCP is with their stats. Like, and just 40 people were banned, but that means 40 people also came to Vegas.
I didn't say 40. Okay, I didn't say 40. I said
know. I'm
some
just saying,
people.
like whatever it is though, just because like if they have all their stats, they always like to show.
But like. Because I was actually kind of weirded out by their whole fucking like Vegas waiting list fucking ticket thing, okay? But and then all of a sudden this happens and it's like, oh shit, there's all of a sudden tickets available. I have to assume that they are partially from people that got fucking knocked the fuck out. Because I did hear people got knocked the fuck out.
Dude, my parents are so excited to go to Vegas, by the way.
Your parents are coming to Vegas? Your parents are coming to Vegas? I am not doing coke with your parents. I'm going to right now.
Wait, she has. That's right. And you said...
No, so my mom has...
You're the coolest mom ever.
Yeah,
so my mom and my dad got pub crawl tickets and party on top of the world tickets.
But I'm just saying, I was going to...
If you want to do coke in Vegas, Dirk, you can do it with my parents.
Like, Rain did tell us this, and she also said that her mom has a huge crush on me, so, like, things might happen in Vegas. So yeah, no, it's
my dad's gonna be there too. Drayden, my dad said he's not afraid to go back to jail, so be very careful.
Well, like you can't keep an eye on her all the time.
Challenge accepted.
Jesus Christ.
Does it count as murder if you don't kill a person with a soul? Like, I mean, Drayden's a ginger, so does that even count?
My dad's gonna get banned from the game, but it's okay because he never played.
By the way, Rain, you brought up something that now I'm curious about. So you talked about how there's a karaoke thing.
I'm trying to get everyone to do karaoke Thursday night, but CCP Affinity / Lindsay isn't gonna be there Thursday, so I'm thinking karaoke every night.
Whatever. She's a goddamn Valkyrie person.
Regardless,
okay? I'm gonna tell you right now.
Affinity is not a Valkyrie person. She's been working on the new player experience, Dirk McGurk.
Oh my God,
Regardless.
Okay, so new player experience and Valkyrie, two things none of us that listen to this show fucking play.
All right. Anyhow, regardless, there has been an ongoing challenge since I was on CSM that I challenged CCP Guard to a karaoke competition.
You guys gotta do it.
Well, yeah, and Judge even called it out on Twitter the other day. He even said, like, when is this gonna happen? And
dude, Guard's a performer. Guard's a fucking performer.
Yeah, he is.
If Judge Karaoke's fucking traitor, I'll buy him a fucking beer. I may even give him an open comms motherfucking t-shirt and a shot glass. Okay, but I'm gonna tell you right now,
Speaking of shots.
If he doesn't, I swear to God, if I can get 12 people that will see him coming down a motherfucking hallway and we all turn our back and say, shame, shame,
someone has
shame, or we strip him naked and fucking like Cersei him down the street.
Okay, this is kind of getting weird really fast.
We should strip him naked. Awkward. Someone has to bring a bell, or at least, is there a bell app? Is there literally an app that just does the shame bell?
Yeah.
Like,
my wife got here, I haven't seen her in like 2 days, so that might be one of the reasons why I'm frustrated about Judge, but whatever.
Wait, what does your wife have to do with the Judge?
Whoa.
Well, your wife's dress is super cute.
That's 2X rated for this.
It's not a dress, it's just a top.
Well, her top's super cute then.
So you're saying she doesn't, she's only got a top right now?
Total fucking underwear. You guys can't see it.
Aww.
She's got jeans on, apparently.
Okay.
Anyways,
the dream
I haven't
is
seen her in like 2 fucking days, but whatever.
Where was your wife?
I had more ever. What a prig.
She was
on
vacation. Yeah. She was on vacation, aka a business trip.
Nimrods will bring the bell. He says.
Getting the vitamin
Nimrod's
D.
got the bell.
Oh, getting the vitamin D. I see it.
D stands for dick.
Wait, why are we making retard noise? Oh, wait, popsicle noise.
Anyways, 10:44. My wife's
anymore.
like, "What are you guys talking about? You talking about that whole like thing that happened the other day?" I'm like, "Exactly."
Wait, your wife's tracking the CO2 thing?
Like literally, when I left her like up in the fucking living room, like I gotta go, and like I haven't seen her in like 72 hours.
Wow, that must be hard.
I know it's really well. She was away for 2 days.
Have you just been like
literally
living
the next day?
You've been living on like Hot Pockets and Capri Suns.
He's not a
Chicken
college
nuggets,
dorm
bro. Chicken
fucking
nuggets.
person. I'm
Nuggets.
sure Dirk
She knows. She knows that when
regular
shit
meals for
goes
himself.
down in this game, I am willing to respond to it, like and be like, you know what, we got to go on the air. We have to talk about this. Matterall, what do we have to say? He's like, who cares what we have to say? We have
I tried
shit
to watch
say.
that talking stations on YouTube and it wouldn't let me. I don't know why.
I was so good that night. I fucking I drank
Okay, it's
coffee
because it's
until
not
like
open
3 o'clock
comms.
in the
You're like a
morning.
normal human being when you're on.
Yeah, I heard all that shit was going on. I'm like, fuck it. And I just went to bed like a normal human being.
Although when Gigax
But I was
got
also really
banned,
sick.
when Gigax got banned right at the fucking end of the show, I'm like, you know what? It was the first time ever that after drinking coffee all fucking night long, like I sat there and went, you know what? I'll do a fucking shot to that. I just will. Matterall on the
Man,
other
I
hand is
gotta
like,
be real
I don't
with
know.
you.
It's like
That was
midnight
pretty
my time.
disappointing. Like that guy, look, that guy is pretty like, what's the word I'm looking for? Atonal. I don't know.
High
He's, like,
strung.
He doesn't really like display emotion when he talks. Typically, like we
Who's
were in a
this?
fight once on a
Who?
Gigs. Sorry. Like we were
Wait,
on
Gigax
I know.
always shows
I
emotion.
hate the fact that I
he
say
doesn't,
Gigax,
he doesn't
but
show
I
it. Like,
spell.
I'm not even kidding.
And,
he doesn't show
like
it.
unless he's freaking out,
like,
or
yeah, like unless he's freaking out about something, he doesnn't really display emotion. Like we were on a
So he's
fight on
dead
a
inside,
Keepstar, and he
so
was
he's
just
angry.
like, "Yeah, I guess we're gonna warp over here and kill this thing," and you're like, "Ah, like you're taking your entire. We need to coordinate about stuff," and he's like, "I'm taking this fleet over here." Like, okay, then. Like,
It's
he
from
doesn't
Serbia.
really
What does he
display...
have to be emotional
Hey,
about?
hey,
But did
why you
anybody
gotta
ever
be
say,
racist
but
about
what about the
this?
stuff in the
Why do you
things
gotta
and
be
be more
racist
personable?
about this?
This
This
is
is
Serbia
video game
race.
journalism. I have the talking stick.
It's not a prejudice.
You don't.
right?
You don't.
do
I
not
actually
have
just
to-
removed
okay,
your
this
fucking talking
is not a
stick.
thing,
And what I'm going to
because
say
Jeremy
is
does
this:
not own it.
is that if you're actually in a fucking alliance out there where you think that the goddamn alliance leader literally cares about you, you are way fucking motherfucking wrong. Okay, you just are.
As
Wait,
an alliance leader,
hold
Dirk,
on, hold on.
I do care about
I'm
you.
not. I'm
actually
not.
give a
I'm not.
shit.
I was
I
in an
actually
alliance
give a
one
shit.
time where the
Holy
guy.
fuck, a lot
I
of
only
alliance
talked to him.
execs give a
I only
shit.
heard his voice like once in like 3
No,
years.
no, hold on.
Dude.
Dirk, you're wrong. Carneros actually, personally,
Carneros literally cares. He does.
I would say
care.
Carneros personally, like when I had,
but really, though-
I took a 6-month hiatus, and Carneros personally mailed me and said, "Hey, I want you back in the game. Can you come
You're
back?"
fucking Drayden, bro. You're on the
Oh,
open
my
comms show.
Lord.
But I'm just saying, Carneros. He
You weren't
talked to
some
me.
fucking slouch F1 guy out there. You were like slouch F1 guy plus half a podcast.
Well, no. I was saying like I am slouch F1 guy that is just on this show. That's like the only thing that differs.
This is how
Okay.
Matterall stays in fucking dice. Matterall like has to.
This
If
guy
Matterall
named
does not get
Creature.
up every Saturday morning, Lady
Uh-huh.
Scream
Creature
will kick
says
his
Sapo
ass the
sits
fuck
in my
out.
fucking Corp channel every night.
Yeah, this is lit.
Because you can't leave Corp channel.
Okay, yeah. This is some shit.
All right, look.
Oh no,
I'm
Gold
looking.
Snake. Gold
I'm
Snake.
looking back to last week, and like, look, I want to apologize to the people who listened to our show last week. We did not mean what we were talking about at the end of that show.
What were
That
we-
show.
Wait, what were we talking about?
What? Yeah, I was saying, what were
What
we
were we
talking
talking about, Dirk?
I've never tried to like renege on what it was we were
I
talking
think
about. in
that
the
we
show
meant
prior,
it at the
but-
time, which means we do mean it now. We just don't
thing to
remember.
say.
Did I
It
miss
is.
something epic last week?
I
Wait,
don't-
what
I'm
happened
gonna
last
be
night?
honest.
Dirk, what did we say? What did we say?
What happened?
Last week was
Somebody just tell me
difficult.
what fucking
I mean, it was
happened.
difficult for me to not listen to the next day. Okay, and that
So that's
says
your problem. You
something.
try to listen to the show again.
No, I don't.
You just,
I don't.
you
I
just
don't
gotta take, you
actually
just gotta
try.
get
It
blackout
happens.
drunk and not remember it, Dirk. No shame in
What
getting
happened
blackout
last
drunk.
Yeah, no, like what
Oh,
I
no.
do.
I'm
Like,
pretty sure nothing happened
I
last week.
even-
I think
No,
Dirk's being
hold on.
dramatic.
There was something about choking. And choking was
Oh,
the end of the show last
yeah.
week.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I was gonna
And
say,
I'm gonna be honest,
that
I'm
was
gonna be honest, look.
sexual choking.
Oh,
He was
because
like,
you guys were
choking, you mean
This,
like a girl
this right
choking on
here,
my
this
dick?
right here, and if I
And
had
me
talked
and
to
Jim were
Giggs,
trying to explain, like, no, when you
Yeah.
like choke the girl, and the
if I
whole
had
time
talked to
Dirk
Giggs
is like,
this week,
yeah, man,
if
I love
Giggs had listened
choking.
to
I
the show,
come so
he'd have
hard.
been
Like,
like,
that's
I'm
what he
gonna
was saying.
choke you out. Like,
Yeah,
I'm gonna open comms choke you. Like, you
Jeez.
won't be
Oh.
able to fucking type. Like, he wouldn't have gotten banned, okay? Because, like, choking, it's not really a violent thing. It's more just like a don't you want to pass out for a moment thing.
Okay, honest God, what?
Or be violent when you choke
No, like,
someone.
see, you guys were talking about like choking a girl like while you're having sex, and I thought you were talking about like choking, like a girl choking when she's deep throating.
No.
And I was like, I don't like it when they choke.
This week
I was like, I don't.
I was like, I don't.
Me and fucking Jintan. No, you don't. Me and
I
Jintan
have
are
the
trying to explain to
autoerotic
Drayden
asphyxiation
how it
stick, and
works.
that's how it works.
Yeah, I was like,
moved in here.
I was like,
Who's
I don't.
getting moved in here?
So, if you didn't
I
know
don't like
about
when
it
it gets
last
chokes
week,
to
you
deep
know
throating.
about it now, and you know what, you
not
can
gonna
go
move
back to
people in.
last
What are we
week and
doing?
listen to the last few minutes. The fact of the matter is that we are actually coming up on our 10-minute, our 10-minute warning for this show. And what I do honestly want to say, while I still have a semblance, just a semblance of my soul left from this fucking show, is
Sanity, not soul.
I
totally fucking recognize that this show, it's not for fucking everybody. This show is not for fucking addressing serious subjects of this game.
No, you'll get that tomorrow morning.
No, this show.
I will do that
this
tomorrow,
show
maybe
is
too.
for addressing serious things on a realistic level, not like a politically correct level.
We never talked about the finale of Game of Thrones.
Realistic.
The finale of Game of Thrones has not happened yet.
About serious topics, and then be like, here's the agenda.
No, what I do want to ask people is this. Do you understand what a right-click radio fucking menu for broadcasts are in this game? If you don't, I want you to go to the
by default it's left-click. Oh my God, do you even play this game?
Yeah, radio is left-click, Dirk. Come on. Right-click is the normal menu.
Is it really a left-click radio?
No, it's left-click.
Oh my fucking God!
I thought it was a right-click.
Dirk, right-click is the regular menu. Left-click hold is the radio menu.
No, but you have to change this in the fucking
it's default.
Right now to test this.
It's default. It's default.
I think if you use radial menus, you're a goddamn millennial.
There's there's no right-click radio menu.
That whole fucking
And as a millennial, I love my radio menu.
Hold on, I'm with
millennials. Millennials are ruining the game.
Calm down, baby boomer. No one cares about these
hold on. Wait,
you old fat fuck.
I'm with Progar on this. I think I actually count as a millennial, but I right-click and choose my option. I do not radial menu that
any
shit.
of that and doesn't have a keyboard.
Who doesn't use both? Who the fuck uses hotkeys? We're not fucking
HD
players.
Well, I use hotkeys.
I have a button on my mouse that I hold.
A, S, and D are like the lifeblood of this
game to me. If I want to warp the stuff, I hit the other button.
You actually fly with WASD?
No. Yeah. I'm saying A, S, and D. A is a line. No. A is a line. S is warp. D is warp and jump. So when
I swear to God, headliner, when he says anchor up, he's using WASD.
No. When they say align to this target, I click on it and push A. I click on push A.
It's pretty simple.
And it's like, okay, warp and jump on contact, click D. That's warp and jump. S is warp and hold. A, S, and D are the most commonly used hotkeys I use in this game because, well, aside from F1, because I do that all the time.
I'm gonna call my final host timeout. My final host timeout is...
Oh yeah, shots. Yeah, hold on. Wow, I'm not.
I've got
I thought it was.
Happy birthday! Thanks for the resubs and the donations.
I thought it was not pre-poured, but I am pre-poured.
Hey girl, do you want that jump hotkey? D.
Look, I just did a shot to free gigs 5.2 months from now because I believe in restorative justice.
In honor of CO2, let's do a smoke, drink.
It's a smoke, drink.
I don't got any weed.
Puff, pass, drink.
I can vape nation it, I guess.
I can think of better ways to honor CO2.
Hey, smoke, drink is the.
We play some T-Swift. Sayo, remember me?
No, I got some T-Swift.
We'll play all kinds of shit in the fucking after show, but you know what? This show right here, this is the fucking serious show, people.
Yeah, this is a very serious show. We all know
this is a serious show. Right now, we're gonna do the last shot of the show, and we have to make this something that matters.
Oh, hold on.
So now, what matters? What is the thing that we talked about tonight that matters the most?
Hold on. Before we do the shot, just give me a second to get a song for this.
Oh, I would say Rowanins.
A song? Oh, wait, no, I got a song.
No, I already got it.
For 24 months.
Rowanins on the phone.
The Matani, thank you, Lieutenant Dan.
That's what I'm throwing the shot to. Rowan in. Hope you get the job.
No. I'm not throwing my fucking shot to something I don't get paid for. So, like, whatever.
Whoa.
All right? It's like, look, the Matani thanks you for resubbing for fucking 24 motherfucking months. This show gets paid on goddamn donations and first-time fucking subs.
Okay, so you're throwing
I'm
shot
gonna be
to
a goddamn
Wolfglen.
bitch like that. I'm sorry.
You're throwing your shot to Wolfglen then because
throw
he
my
pays
goddamn
you.
shot out there to something that fucking matters, like people that like
Are you guys ready
actually
for the
have a
shot?
set of
Are you
fucking
ready for the
testicles
shot?
and don't let
Are you
people
ready?
whisper in
All
their
right,
ear.
so Dirk's throwing it to Wolfglen. I'm throwing it to
why
Rowan.
don't we just
Dude,
do a
I've
shot
done
for
so many
CO2?
shots to
Why
make
don't
up
we just
for
do
my
a shot
shots?
for CO2?
Shout out for the Eve players.
You know
Why
what?
don't you all
Here's to
handle
a
your
shot
shit
to.
better?
Yeah, but smoke,
You know what?
smoke,
Fuck
drink,
it. I'm
drink
just
for
calling it right
CO2.
now. I'm like overriding everything.
Smoke, drink,
Here's to a
drink,
shot.
CO2.
You know, here's a shot to a fucking alliance. It was a fighting motherfucking alliance. It got taken down. My counselor got fucking taken down. The rest of y'all are bitches for not taking it down the hard way.
Oh my God,
Get your fucking warrior ethos shot, bitch, now.
Shots to Dolphin Save Tuna.
I laced the track, you locked the flow. So far from hanging on the block for dough. Notorious, they got to know that.
Bunch of ratty-minded motherfuckers. God
I
damn,
still can't
seriously.
believe this isn't Sarah McLachlan in the arms of an angel. You made the wrong choice. You made the wrong
How
choice
dare
for
you.
songs.
No, we can't listen to Arms of the Angel.
I will also
Exactly.
do a shot. I will also do a
Those
shot.
poor
You
animals.
should feel bad. I have the talking stick.
You do not have the
so
stocking
wait,
stick.
someone actually called shots to the talking stick. That was Rhinestone.
Nope,
Talking
no,
stick is not a
no.
thing on open comps. It's not a
I will
thing.
also
No,
do
you're
a
wrong,
shot
it is.
to the
It is
fact
because I
that, you
have
know
it.
what?
It is clearly
Tess
a thing.
man
Do not
the
have it.
fuck up.
No, I
Tess
have
man
it.
the
Do another
fuck up and
shot?
said, you know what, we're going to
Are we
bring some
doing
people
Dirk?
into our
What the
alliance.
fuck?
Well, we have he didn't drink in the first hour, so we have to get the maximum over Dirk for the after show.
Exactly. You know what? Don't fuck with me
you
right
guys
now
wanna
because
get
I
microwaves
swear
and
to
then cry
fucking
on
God,
Hey, you know
my
what?
fucking
I've
mic
got
Are
is
you gonna
louder.
cry
drink
on
for an
Calm Train?
on-chain.
I'm gonna get that so drunk, I'm gonna do the crying
You
thing.
gonna do the cry thing?
Is that working, Sapporo Groans? Is that?
Shut
how
up,
you guys
Economical. I know where this
But-
fucking song comes
Are
from.
we doing
Fuck
Honestly-
you.
Honestly,
Play
I am
goal.
going to say this because there was a part of me that was buying into the tinfoil that the transfer of the fucking Keepstar over to Test meant that they were actually in on it, and we might find that out later. But here's the deal: if you're in fucking
Rasmus
CO2,
gets the conch
know
reference.
where your fucking friends are out there. Know the people that are actually letting you fucking roll into fucking low sec. Wake the fuck up and like log your super in and be like, kill these fucking bubbles or like, you know, whatever that fucking half-ass
Don't use your
geek
super
camp
to
is.
kill
Yeah,
bubbles.
man, and join Tess.
No, that's the man way to kill
Either,
bubbles.
hold on. I would rather they fucking join Test, not because I don't
Shut
love
up,
the
Economical.
Imperium, but because I want
Wait.
a balanced world.
Wait.
I want a balanced world. I want the balance to fucking rip itself apart. Let all the balance fucking tear that
I was
shit
so lucky I
apart.
just randomly
Because
had-
this should be a world of fucking
Drayden, the Gatorade
violence.
for tomorrow morning.
Literally, you should be able to talk in local, but
That
not talk
actually was the
outside
plan.
of local.
It was
I have
but,
Gatorade.
But
I have Gatorade for tomorrow, yeah.
Yo,
Whatever,
why did
fuck
you
this
Yeah,
shit.
no,
I'm
no,
not gonna
like,
shot.
that actually was the
God.
plan.
Fuck it. I'm just laying it out there.
Shots.
You know, I'm gonna give it up to fucking Tess for being like, yeah, join us, bitches, because they actually fucking earned points tonight.
You too.
Yeah. YouTube?
YouTube!
Hello, YouTube!
Judge is a motherfucking
Christ.
traitor of high octane proportion.
I refuse to allow you to do this show again without a talking stick. A talking stick is important.
Talking
need
to
a
stage is the
graphic?
next
Do
day.
I need
That's
to
when
make a
people
graphic
wake
for
up
this?
sober
I
on
have
the
the
West
talking
Coast.
stick. I have the talking stick.
Do I need a graphic for talking sticks?
By the way, I have the talking stick.
Okay, Sapporo has a talking stick. That's not the conch.
Hey,
though.
guys,
You need the conch to talk.
Do you
I
know
got-
they don't
hey,
have
yo,
Subarus
I
outside
gotta
of
go.
like
It's
the
2
United
minutes early,
States?
But I gotta go, so later.
Sam, I'm out.
No.
Peace.
I'm out as well.
Peace, bitches.
Take care, team.
We're saying
It's been
peace,
a,
bitches
it's
to
been a
those
pleasure.
people.
Thank you very much
Wait,
for
we're
having
going
me on the show.
early?
I appreciate it. You
Are
have a
we-
great day.
No, we're not going early. We
We're
gotta
not
discuss
leaving
Game of
early.
Thrones.
We're not leaving
have-
early.
we have
We're
like a
saying
minute and a half
peace,
to
bitches
leave.
to
Game of
those bitches.
Thrones.
Rain, we have
Yeah, but I have
1
the talking
minute.
stick, so like, you know.
All right. So, what was your favorite part of Game of Thrones? Okay, Littlefinger.
Yeah, Game of Thrones is pretty terrible.
Yeah,
and
well,
not a
no,
show
I
nobody
like
should
big
watch.
fingers, but
Shut up, Sapporo.
Oh, fuck off! If you
Fuck
like balls
you.
slapping
Fight
in
me,
She's
the
like,
Sarah.
fuck you, don't have my...
Yeah,
wait,
you're talking
wait,
shit
whoa,
like
whoa,
him,
whoa, whoa, whoa! Don't get
Like,
into
chop
physical.
off your tongue.
Whoa, you guys will get banned for making physical threats to each
Not
other.
unless it's in game, Drayden. If you
Dude,
talk
dude.
shit out of game, it's okay.
Okay, like, go ahead,
Chapter
go
of the
ahead,
book
go
of
ahead.
Game of Thrones is literally.
I will
balls
literally
slapping
smack
incest
all of
sex.
you, like...
Oh my god!
Yeah,
You
whatever.
shut up. You stand up for that.
I got
ball
4
incest
fucking
sex.
smack
You do
talk
that.
bans.
I had the talking stick.
He does have the conch. I told him that before.
I can't even like
He
pretend
did.
to fight.
He told me
It's
I
too
had
funny.
the talking conch.
The conch. It's not
Dream,
conch.
who's a
It's
surgeon
conch.
in this
Didn't you see Lord of
organization,
Flies
gave me
movie? They called it the
Okay,
conch.
my wife just handed me a brush. I have the talking brush. I'm told it is a paintbrush.
Like Moses.
He has a cool wave too. He has a cool wave too.
Yeah, Moses.
Yeah,
Moses.
buddy, I do. Yeah.
Moses has
Consensual
talking
in
brush.
real life killing is okay. Says Yukiko Kami.
Killing is the
CSM
means
member.
of
Communication.
It is a chisel blender, apparently. So I have the talking chisel blender.
Are you what?
Drayden, you gotta
what?
fix the thing.
You have to actually
Drayden, there's
explain
4
that
of us.
to us.
Do the 4
Because,
person
like,
one.
we're actually down. We're actually down. We have to actually kick over to.
All right, Rain, you're Jintan
Julie.
now.
Who's that
I'm
chick
Jintan.
that comes
Julie,
on
it's
after
Julie.
us?
It's Julie.
Julie. Fucking Julie. Drayden, is she coming to Vegas? Is Julie coming to fucking Vegas?
Let's get Julie to Vegas.
Because I'm gonna tell you right now, what I learned today, INN got a fucking free ticket to Vegas, and it should be Julie.
I support.
Not because she's an Eve player, but because like
She's a
hot,
girl.
and we'll just- she's
the
hot, and we'll just
4% need
walk
to be
around.
represented, Dirk.
My
people.
No, I support. Like, no, Julie's awesome, and
Julie is awesome,
Tyrion! Oh my
and is a
God.
girl that will walk around during Vegas.
What? No, no, she's...
Because INN gave them her free ticket. Or
Okay,
did
can
they
we
not?
let... Hi, Julie. Can we let Games
This
Pony...
story- No, whoa. Okay,
He's
so-
always here on time, and we're
Wait,
trash.
Ray, stop!
Why
Stop.
you can't go to Vegas?
We suck. Kick the fuck off, Drake.
Everyone
Just
stop.
like-
Okay, we're
Hey,
done.
later, bitches. Everyone
You're
wait.
later,
You
bitches.
don't have a
Later,
hand
bitches.
anymore. Put it
Is this
down.
seriously what this show is about?
Stop
If people don't
by.
talk-
We're gonna get